There we go.
What's going on, people?
All right. I'm gonna wait for a couple of people to get in here before we get started on our journey. But we're on a mission today, KDot. Let me
Yeah.
turn this around. What are we doing?
We're going to go pull up on a few people. Uh, we're going to be going to the municipal building and meeting with HR and seeing what's going on, why we're not getting the response back quick enough. Because I sent an email stating that I was going to let them know my availability for this week, which I did on Sunday. It's Monday passed and now Tuesday. Why haven't I gotten a response? So we're gonna pull up. So
We're gonna pull up and we are gonna take care of business today.
and we
What's up,
also
Ellie?
have a dissent decree or consent decree meeting.
Oh yeah, that's later on tonight.
Later on tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Michelle, welcome. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Amy, welcome, Amy. All right. We're off. KDot's got to open my door. Yeah, leave the windows open for Bernie. Bernie's with us too, but she's gonna stay in the car.
Okay,
What's up, Johnny Bravo? What's up, Ellie? What's up, Jen? All right, my two favoriteest mods. Oh yeah, I gotta do this. Okay,
Bernie, it's right here.
Okay. That's all right.
have fun. Fun. This should be interesting, y'all, because basically what the follow-up is for, I named it HR follow-up for a reason. There was an employee that has since, I don't know if they left or they got fired. You guys know the whole saga with that. But, what, you were right? What? What's going on? You forget something? All right. I'll wait for Kate out here. Let me get into the shade. So basically, what's going on here is we were told that they asked us if we wanted to have a meeting about this encounter that we had, which you guys saw the result of in my video entitled Beavis and Butthead Try to Kick Us Out of City Hall. The story actually started with an HR lady that was upset that KDot, first of all, she was upset that KDot, there's KDot looking fly today, except for the hat. I don't agree with the hat, but everything else is A-okay. So
Bird gang all day, Eagles.
Bird gang, get out of here, man. Couldn't finish the job, man. You couldn't finish the job. But anyways, we're here because that employee was incredibly rude to KDot and eventually wanted to
Hi, can I hug you?
can I hug you? So, oh, check this out, guys. Look at this. Look at that. Look like a statue. Look at that. But anyways, so this lady, oh, caution, look at this. Nesting and aggressive geese, guys. Right there. Caution.
But they don't have this for police officers.
I know. Be on alert. Highly aggressive police officers. All right, so very aggressive geese. So we got to stay away from those geese, man. Apparently. All right. So we're here. We're basically, oh boy, another geese, man. They shit everywhere, man.
Cleans that up.
I don't know. Maybe. But we're. All right. We've got to get our passes, guys, because you need a badge, apparently. I don't even know why we do this process, but we're nice. But so we didn't get a response from the head of HR, so they. So we're here to figure out what's going on with the meeting that we were supposed to have regarding the super rude employee that is no longer in the employ of Aurora, by the way. So look at that. That's really nice. Never even noticed that. We don't need no stinking badges. I told them last time, Ellie. I did tell them that at one point. We don't need no stinking badges. We really don't, but the people here are really nice, so we'll play along. Oh, no hand sanitizer. That's great. It's up 420. Who else? I mean, unindoctrinated. Ghost Eagle, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here to take care of business today. Taking care of business every day.
Because they wanted me to, I sent them my schedule. I sent them my schedule for this week so we can have a meeting.
Still waiting for these badges, guys. I'm gonna take a seat while KDot haggles for a badge. Harry, welcome. What'd they say?
We're gonna go to.
you guys remember that security guy, right?
Hello.
My God, how you doing? Not much. I didn't get a response.
They didn't respond. So I saw that you sent a message on Sunday. Okay, let me.
Tell them I don't like being ignored.
Yes. Right.
So Lee is not in today, but let me get with Nancy and figure this out.
Okay, and then I'm off tomorrow too, so.
Yeah, I saw him when you CC'd me, so I'm like, that was helpful.
She's really awesome.
She's awesome.
This is exactly where we sat. Let me actually stand up here, guys. So I was sitting there, KDot was sitting there, and the lady was sitting right there. And we had quite an exchange. I didn't record it, as I explained on the last live. I didn't record that portion because I told KDot we really want to make progress here. We had definite policy questions and concerns that we were trying to get addressed, or at least get some answers for. And
Have a good day.
You as well.
and
All done. You won't
It,
you won't have Mr. Washington coming every day.
Okay, that's good.
and it
Yeah, for the most part.
so basically, and it's really weird. And normally I do record, but what did I tell you that day, KDot? We're here to actually make some changes, to get some answers, and I don't want the cameras being a barrier to us getting those answers, right? Because a lot of times people will clam up with a camera, which I don't understand, but it is what it is, right? So this one day I said, let's not record, let's just try it differently. And it was going swimmingly at first, even though we weren't getting any real answers, right, KDot? We were, but we were at least having a semi-cordial conversation.
I thought we were.
And it took a turn for the worse because KDot noticed that she had a Thin Blue Line mug, and he called her out on it. He said, I see you have, and he was calm the whole time. You were much calmer than I was in that whole exchange. And so it took a real weird turn to where, and I noticed this before, and I told KDot this after we got, off air. I said, there was a big difference between when I was asking questions and when you were asking questions. Right. And you didn't see it, I don't think, at first, KDot, but it was pointed out, once I pointed it out, I wish we had it recorded because it would have been blatantly obvious. Every time
Yeah.
KDot would ask a question, she would fidget and she would get agitated, and you could tell there was a cadence in her demeanor that
Yeah,
that warranted
yeah.
some investigative prowess. Let's just put it that way. So I called her out on it. I was like, what I noticed is when KDOT asks you questions, you bristle. When I ask you questions, and I've been far more aggressive in my line of questioning, was I not, KDOT?
Yeah.
I put the screws. I said,
Yeah.
whatever we needed the answers to, we need the answers, right?
Yeah.
And so she started getting hostile, and she was like, "You are not." And she told this to KDOT. She goes, when he asks me questions, it's reasonable, and when you ask me questions, you're rude, and I mean, she was saying all these things that were not true. I was sitting right there. If anybody could be considered rude, and I don't even think I was rude,
No,
KDOT,
I
correct me
think
if I'm wrong.
I think you were more
I was more
assertive,
hard nosed, and I was trying to get to the point of these questions.
Right.
But and I cornered her on all of them. Everything. I'm not gonna let her go and say one thing, and you know, and get away with it if it's not untrue.
Yeah.
So I did. I called her out, and she became more and more agitated to the point where when KDOT pointed out that she had a thin blue line mug, which I'm almost certain is in their policy not to prominently display the thin blue line, gang affiliated sign, because that's what it is, terrorist.
Yep.
They should be labeled as a terrorist organization.
I agree.
That's my opinion.
I agree.
But
100%.
when he pointed that out, she's like, "Oh, you're not going to disparage the cops. I have cops in my family," and right then, I knew, right? And I was, and KDOT and I looked at each other like you do realize that's not allowed in your policy, is what I said. And she got agitated. She's like, "I'm going to ask you guys to leave." You can ask all day long. You know what KDOT and I did? Doing what we're doing right now. We sat in the chairs and we didn't move. She got up. She went out. And luckily, this woman was a witness to all this and heard the whole conversation and knew what was going on. So there was no getting out of it for this woman, right? There was a witness other than us.
Yeah.
So she gets up, she gets out the door, and she goes crying like a crying Karen does.
Well, first you said you guys need to leave.
Yeah, I said you guys need to leave. And I said,
We cracked up.
we laughed. We looked at each other and we laughed. We're like, this is a public building. We're not going nowhere. So she left. We sat there because I'm like, we're not gonna bow. This is our building. We're allowed to be here. They know that. We know that.
Yeah.
She tried to flex. It didn't work on two of the best in the business. It just didn't work.
It didn't work out.
So I told KDOT, I said, you know what, KDOT, we got to go out there because she's going to try to call the police. And sure enough, what happened? She goes over to the guards. She's trying to get them to call the police on us and have us escorted out, which really, I mean, go for it. Try. I wish the police would have came. That would have been even better.
Yeah.
But so then you guys saw.
They didn't want to have a conversation with us. I was kind of sad.
I know, right? I know.
Weren't you sad?
I know. I was really hoping. Remember,
That was just like,
we
love
both
a visit from them.
and so that's when the video picks up, guys. You can watch the video on my channel. It's called Beavis and Butthead Try to Get Us Kicked out of City Hall. It's got a really nice thumbnail. I'm getting good at the thumbnails.
Oh man.
KDOT.
Oh man, hilarious.
The thumbnails are pretty good, huh?
Legendary.
that one I think is pretty good, man. Beavis and Butthead. So that gets you guys caught up to speed with what we're doing here. We're having a follow-up meeting with HR, which KDOT has emailed several times to try to set up this meeting to discuss the events that happened that day. And no response, so now we're here. So this is how it's going to be. We're making our own meeting. Is essentially what's going on, because we're not going to wait, until they decide, okay, you're worthy of this time slot, right? This is public facing, and that's just how it is.
Yep. And that's just. And here's the thing: we just want to have the meeting so we're on
Sasquatch, welcome. Dragonette, welcome.
Hey Sasquatch. So we're just on clear terms of what the process is, as far as these records, because I just really feel um, that they heavily redacted Sergeant Cook's record or his personnel file, and supposedly everything was supposed to be good. So I don't understand why we could not read the narrative of what was going on with Sergeant Cook.
Right. Yeah, we had basic questions, right? Why certain things were redacted, why we didn't get, because we only got up to the year 2018, I believe, or 2019?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why we didn't get 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022.
And then, yeah, and also for Douglas too. We're
Yeah,
missing
Douglas.
5 years, right? You said 5 years
We were missing like 3 years of records, I think.
out of Douglas's.
Yep.
Oh,
And
okay.
so there was a cutoff there, and I'm wondering why, we were just asking general policy questions, and they couldn't even. This lady couldn't even. She was dancing around everything. I mean, that's what it was. I mean that, and we expected that going in, right, KDot? Like there was no doubt. We knew that we were gonna get the runaround, but at least we could. I mean, we don't even know why this lady was sent down, first of all, or why she interjected herself into it. She chose to come down here and talk to us.
I think it was her
So,
ego, really. I really think it was her ego, and I don't know. Maybe she was trying to learn something. I don't know. Maybe she was their lackey and was just like, go down there, handle it.
I mean, they sent the wrong person. I can tell you that because, I mean, she was running up against
Yeah.
KDot and myself, and that's never going to go the way that they think. I mean, they always have this vision in their mind that they're going to bully us and push us around and maybe call the cops and have the cops escort us out and hopefully kill us or shoot us and it never works like that.
Yeah.
It never works like that. I mean, we're not intimidated. Both KDot and I fully believe in what we're doing. We're not. You could pull a gun on us, and it's not going to change the way that we go about our business. I mean, it might change things in that moment, and we might put our hands behind our back and get arrested, or heaven forbid, get shot. Which we ran into one of the most dangerous cops in all of Denver, the Denver metro area, and we didn't get shot. We got lucky. I'm not going to say we didn't.
Yeah.
But that's how committed we are. We've run into some of the most dangerous pieces of shit on the planet. I mean, you guys saw the video with Chief Oates when he was the chief here, his old ass threatening KDOT. I mean, that's a chief of police threatening a citizen's life, which I got on camera. So these are the things that have to change here in Aurora and across the country. And once we get done cleaning up Aurora, we're going to Denver. I mean, we're working on Denver too. Once we clean up this entire area, which we will, and we're making progress, trust me, we'll expand. We'll go to different places, and we'll get them to change things too. But one thing at a time, eyes on the prize, and that's all we can do. Right now, what are we waiting for?
Huh?
What are we waiting for?
Just for them to get everything organized as far as probably getting a response from one of the. I think
Got
it
you.
was the VP. No, the deputy director of HR. Yeah, deputy director. So.
I find it funny too, KDOT. Look at the sign to your right. I find it funny.
Oh, yeah.
I find it funny because those signs mean nothing, and people think that they have to bow down to that type of stuff, and we really don't. And by the way, I think one of the things on our agenda, the signs over in the districts in Denver with no recording inside the police lobbies and all that shit, we're getting that shit taken down.
Yeah.
At some point. Trust me, that's a mission of mine that I've had for a long time. And it hasn't changed yet, but it will.
Yep. Yep. We're gonna get that done because at the end of the day, it's unconstitutional.
Yep. And they know it too. I've been inside District 4, District 2, District 6.
Yeah.
You know, District 5, you can't even get in the lobby. KDot was arrested outside the building. I still can't believe that, man. Do you have any updates on that, KDot, or that you want to share? I mean, you may not want to
Not yet.
share anything.
But
Okay.
just say this is some good things talks from my attorney.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to get everything to you.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I know, but you guys don't know.
you know, hopefully through next month or whatever, we'll be able to
Yeah.
hopefully be able to share that information hopefully by the end of next month
Yeah.
for you guys. So I'm pretty excited. So
Strictly Strange, what's up, man? Nice to have you in here, buddy. Howard County, you big bully. Bernie's in the P back row. What's up? Yeah, P back row, that's what we're doing. We're chipping away.
yep.
It's a long, arduous process, but we're making progress. Full show. But look, I'm gonna zoom in here. Tell me if you can see that. But signs like that are not constitutional. I mean, it's funny, man. Like people just think just because the government puts up signs that, you know, that's just the law, you know.
Once they're done, they'll come and get you guys. Oh, okay. You're here for a permit for an extension on the driveway?
Yeah.
All right, sit tight.
Yeah, so you know, it's just at the end of the day, we're here to make sure that you know there's accountability had, and because we want to make sure that we're doing everything right, everybody doing everything right on all sides as far as getting these records.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is tech savvy, not everybody owns a computer or a smartphone or anything like that.
And there are other questions too that we're addressing, guys. Trust me, it's not just simply, you know, exercising our right to record or any of that stuff. You know, that's also, you know, obviously that's high on the agenda, but there's other little subtleties that we're working on that are too. I mean, the amount of work that KDot and I have put in this past few months is fucking crazy, guys. Like, they're now doing stuff because of us. They're now hiding police records behind CCJRA, which is the Justice Act, Colorado. What is it?
Colorado Criminal Justice Act.
Criminal Justice Act. That's right. And it doesn't matter. I mean, the only thing that it's going to do is delay the inevitable. And I think there's a war brewing, KDot, because I think you were there when I told the chief. I was like, the lawyer doesn't want this legal battle. Megan over in she made the decision to redact all of Cook's file, and she definitely doesn't want to go to court on this because she'll lose.
Absolutely.
And I know she's going to lose. So, and that's what I told the chief, and the chief was like, well, let me talk to her. And he was being cool, you know. He's like, okay, I understand. You know, there's no reason for those files to be redacted the way that they were at all.
Right.
So there's a brewing legal battle here in Aurora, guys, trust me, and Denver, because they're all doing it. They all got together, and I know this because I put in request in Thornton, I put in request in Lakewood, I put in request in Inglewood, I put in request in, what was the other one? There was one other, Colorado Springs. And they all got together and they all decided that all their police records are hidden now behind the CCJRA. And the reason that they did that, well, first of all, they're criminals for the most part. So, of course, it makes sense. Criminal Justice Act. But you have 20 weeks or more, because they don't give you a time frame on records when you put
I think
in.
they said on the form it was like, what, 24 weeks?
It could be 24 weeks or longer. So there's, like I said, there's a war brewing here between the city of Aurora and KDOT and MLH. Let's just put it that way, because it's got to happen this way. I don't think there's any other because I've talked to people about it, and talking really gets you nowhere. The only thing that you can do, take it to court, and we're gonna win it every time, and hopefully we can get a case law that forces their hand, first of all, to move the records from CCJRA back over to Cora, which is where they should have been. Cora is like our FOIA here. And that way, instead of having 24 weeks to decide whether or not they give us the information, which they're going to give it to us anyways, one way or another, it's going to take them 3 days to respond, and then up to, I think, 21 days to give us the information that we requested. So it's not that hard. It's not rocket science. I've done it how many times before, KDot? Several times, and I've gotten the information that I needed, but now it's becoming really, really hard to get that information. What do they have to hide? That's the question. And when they start redacting things like they did on Cooks, all of a sudden, you know, oh, we gave you Douglas's information or his personnel file on accident. No, it wasn't an accident. That's exactly what should happen. If I request it, you give it to me within 21 days. If you have to redact, you know, addresses and, you know, other it's kind of funny. I'm not going to say who, but we got another request that had not only all the personnel files, but other information like driver's license and all kinds of other things, you know, really weird. You know what I'm talking about, KDot? Really weird that we got all that information for that particular officer. And then we get the information on Doug. Oh, that's a mistake. Why? Because you're hiding somebody that makes $141,000 that sits at a desk, and you don't want us to know the truth. Well, we know the truth already.
Exactly.
He covered for a sleeping officer on the job, and that's why he's there. Why can't anybody be honest about it?
Right.
You know, it's pathetic. $141,000 we're paying for someone to sit there and do nothing.
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Because he messed up, and to boot, he gets an excellent review. Exceptional. He's exceptional, KDot. This guy that covered up for a sleeping officer is exceptional. That's the standard that Aurora has set for their police officers.
So that's why now I'm kind of thinking like, because they did get a exceptional on that, but they had a narrative of what happened, and I'm wondering, is there something in that narrative that exposes him?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? It wouldn't be a question if we could look at it.
Yeah.
But of course, it was all redacted. Big black bars over every little nook and cranny of that review.
Right.
But he's exceptional because they told us that. They let that go, right? He's exceptional.
Oh, yeah, he's
That's why he's
great.
another one that's behind the desk. I forgot to ask how much Cook makes.
Who?
Cook.
Oh, I don't even know if that was in there.
So
Yes, ma'am.
We're working on getting somebody down here to talk to you guys.
Awesome.
Okay.
My supervisor is in a training, but she's asking if you'd be okay with somebody from city management.
I think that'd be all right, I guess.
I guess.
We'll see how it goes.
Like a personnel.
Like somebody from city management coming down to take in the complaint.
From management? Okay.
From city management.
From city management. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But oh, did you let her know I was off tomorrow too? If
I mean, I saw your email and I saw that you sent it to them.
oh yeah, yeah,
I
it's
should have seen it.
she's
I
seen
did
it.
message him this morning, so I don't.
Yeah.
Common sense, right? You know.
I mean,
And I did everything I was supposed to do, right?
Yeah, it went through fine.
There you go.
okay, so we got confirmation that they got the email. That's good.
That's why she's so wonderful.
Yeah, she's good. She's really good.
Um,
And she was a witness to all that BS that we were dealing with
she
out
was
here.
in the email, so she seen everything. She seen.
Yeah.
I said I'd put my schedule as far as like. as
Matthew,
far as my
welcome.
availability. And I think the rest of the times I'm working in the evening, so I'm still kind of available throughout the week, really. At least the mornings,
Yeah.
for sure.
I figured they'd redact with the blue line. Matthew, it would not surprise me if they changed it to blue redactions, you know, just to throw salt, you know. Oh man.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny, man. I look, I'm not here to. We're never here to cause any issues.
No.
It's not our goal. Our goal is to raise awareness and get answers, because a lot of times the answers are hidden behind redactions, or especially in body cam footage. Body cam footage is a whole different animal. You get body cam footage, and boy, oh boy, do they ever redact. You remember when we went out, KDot, and we were they shined the lights, and we couldn't, you know, we were like, you know, so angry that they were following us with the lights, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I asked for all that body cam footage, and I wanted the sergeants, because the sergeant I could kind of hear what he was saying, because you know where we were on Alameda there.
Right.
The way it is, you can kind of like hear, you can pick up bits and pieces of conversations that people are having if they're, you know, talking normally and not whispering. Well, I asked for his body cam. You know what body cam footage did I show you? I think I showed you the body cam footage.
I haven't seen any of the body cam.
You haven't? I thought I did. Oh,
think-
it's on
Maybe Warner.
Okay, I have it on a thumb
Okay.
drive.
Okay.
I have it on the thumb drive.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, didn't cost me a penny. They sent me an invoice to my email. You know? Okay, so
Okay.
in that body cam footage
Yeah.
that I specifically requested a certain amount of time, I wanted to see from the time the sergeant got called out from the station, which he wasn't. The only piece of body cam footage that I got was a snippet of him in the station after everything, filing a little bit of paperwork. Nothing out in the field.
Okay.
Nothing from him. I got one body cam footage from one of the officers that you could clearly see they were following us with the, you know, the
They were
light.
trying to creep. It was actually kind of cute. I mean, you have a white vehicle at night.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna
So
stand out.
right. So the body cam footage is I mean, I think in some instances it helps to have it, but in most instances they're going to edit and they're going to redact a shit ton from those things. If nothing else, the cops are going to mute their audio. Like, you remember Douglas, that footage we requested. I got that footage back. You saw that, I think. He had his thing muted, and you couldn't see it. It was pointed towards the sky or something until the interaction with you and I at the window. But he already had a conversation, and you could tell he had a conversation. You know. So they are really shady when it comes to body cam footage. In my opinion, that body cam footage should be on from the time they start their shift to the time they end their shift. The only time that it should be muted or blacked out is when they go to the bathroom. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Who's for the parking lot extension?
Now, if we happen, guys, also, if we happen to have a meeting,
Is it for commercial or residential?
most likely it's going to be in a restricted area, so we might have to
Parking lots anymore. Is it changed on the site plans?
cut the video short, but we'll let you know what happened. Like in
and
the background.
and I'll do audio. I'll do audio. So if this stream stops, trust me, I'll have the audio.
Yeah.
I'll have the full on audio.
Yeah.
But we'll try to keep it real with video. But also we need to get answers. So I'm not gonna not have a meeting because they don't want it recorded, you know. But I am gonna record audio, and there ain't a damn thing they can do about it,
Right.
you know. So
And this is a one-party state, so.
yes, it is, which is nice. So,
Always
but
nice.
so this, I mean, it's like most people would say this is much ado about nothing, KDot, but I don't think so. I think the uppers here need to hear exactly what happened, because they didn't get full context, and the only people that have full context is you and I,
Yep.
and this lady here that was listening to the whole thing.
I would agree.
So-
100%.
So this meeting is actually pretty important, because we're not only going to talk about that incident,
Yeah.
but we also need answers on why we didn't get full files, why they're moving everything to CCJRA, why, you know,
And I
all
also need
kinds.
to know, like, what's this whole thing with the broadness? Like, what is? Explain that to me. What does that mean in their context? Oh well, your request is a little too broad.
Hi, how are you guys?
And all
Yeah.
this. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? My name is Kendall Kocha.
Kendall,
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, pleased to meet you. I think I've seen you before at a couple of council meetings before.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So Ryan was on a call. He's on his way down. He's our HR director. So
Okay.
he's just wrapping up a conversation and then
Awesome.
we'll be down. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
I think I saw you, was it not yesterday, but Monday before.
I believe so,
Because
yes.
I introduced myself to you that day.
Yes.
Good,
It's
good to
really
see
good to
you.
see
I'm
you.
so happy to see you here.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your name?
MLH. People call me MLH. Nice to
MLH,
nice to
pleased
meet you.
to meet you.
Nice to meet
And
you.
tell me again.
KDot.
Oh, I'm so happy to meet you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
appreciate you coming down for sure.
Yeah, of course.
We got,
So the director's coming down. That's really nice.
Yeah, his name is Ryan Lance. He's our HR director. So Colleen Lindstone is one of our administrative
Okay.
assistants. So she went into his office. And
That's
Gotcha.
asked
awesome.
him
I
to
really
get off
appreciate
the-
that. I
off
mean,
the
we
call.
we have to address a few things that need to be addressed. It's not going to be confrontational in any way. It's just
I think we just need this
Have a
clarity.
conversation.
yeah, we just need some
on
clarity
their
on a few
both
issues.
perspectives so
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
come up with a solution.
I like
You
it.
know, just so.
Solutions are always good,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have a good conversation, you can't have any.
Are you going to be at the consent decree meeting this evening, or?
I have, what do I have this afternoon? I don't know, let me
She's
see
like,
what's on my
anywhere but
calendar
there
today.
is where I want to be.
Consent decree.
Not on the agenda.
Let me see what is on my calendar. Today is Tuesday. I have a citizens charter ad hoc review meeting this
Oh, okay.
evening, so I have that.
That's probably going to be much more interesting than the consent decree meeting.
It's so fun.
I don't know. Fun would be the word for it.
No, I think the chief is doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
new chief is doing pretty good.
Kind of working the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a.
Yeah, he's riding a fine line of a lot of things.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
You jump into a really big frying pan and
Yeah,
try to,
that's a perfect example.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's-
He's actually one of the first chiefs that was eager to meet with citizens. A lot of the chiefs previously wouldn't necessarily meet with
there's a, yeah,
with the public.
Separation.
Except for Vanessa.
Vanessa
Yeah,
would,
Vanessa
but you
would.
would have to work around a lot of things to get a meeting.
Well, I
with.
had her direct number, so.
I know.
She was answering my phone
Chief
call.
Acevedo seems to be pretty responsive, so I like that.
I kind of liked Vanessa, man.
I like
I
Vanessa.
hate how she got pushed out.
We didn't agree on everything, but
Yeah.
but I thought. I don't know.
What kind of world would this be if we all agreed on the same
I hear you.
thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I tell my kids all the time. They're like, I don't know.
Can't always agree. Yeah.
It's fine. You have to agree with me, but I'm the mom, so.
Right, I'm the mom, so that's
Yeah.
how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad to be here. Here, I'll sit with you guys.
Awesome.
How are you?
I honestly really appreciate you guys taking the time. It means a lot. Transparency.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to be here. And we have, I think in my mind, we try to do the best that we can every day. At least that's my goal,
Mm.
is to be better than I was yesterday.
Maybe I don't know if you're the
I
person.
hear you.
Yeah.
Definitely, right? I think that's our goal, is to try to be better than what we were yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So, that's, at least that's what I tell my son too. But we just want to make sure, because you have to understand, like, in my position, a lot of people, I'm highly respected in the community, and people trust me in the community, and they come to me about their issues, and you're doing this, KDot, and doing that, and it's not getting done. So my job is to make sure that that's getting done, and to try to
At least
bridge
acknowledged,
the gap.
yeah. Acknowledgement is huge,
Yeah.
because you can't work on something if you don't know what's.
I have a quick question for you guys. Do you guys? Okay, I know you guys have a policy against displaying the thin blue line flag
Yeah, I can.
And I read it in your policy. It's been a while.
Okay. I haven't
Um,
read that policy, so I apologize that I
It's
don't.
okay. It's
go ahead.
okay.
But
Trust
keep
me, it's in
going.
there.
Okay.
So what is the, I guess if somebody is found in violation of that policy, like how do you guys handle complaints against policy violations? If someone, like if we were to come and ask, tell you that somebody's displaying the thin blue line and it's in your policy that it shouldn't be there.
You mean as a city employee, a
Yes.
policy for a city
Yeah.
employee? What I
Yeah.
think it typically goes, to a supervisor, and
Mm-hmm.
then from the supervisor, there's probably I would say there's probably some, system that they have figured out, right? We have a conversation.
Sure.
Right.
We talk about it.
Right.
It's a
It can't just be you're
policy.
fired,
No, absolutely not. It
I
has
mean,
to
I
be-
know that's basically what I was asking, what the whole
Me as a
process was.
supervisor,
Mhm.
what I do is I have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Since
Right.
it's a policy, we have to follow the rules.
Right.
And so, let's follow the rules.
Right.
I think,
Here's the time that I talked to you.
Yep, that's right,
Document it
document.
so that you can never say that, oh, well, she never told me about this. I
That's
don't
right,
even know."
yeah,
You
yeah.
Yeah.
And then follow up with an email per our conversation.
Yeah, yep.
This is what happened.
yep.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
that
and
gets-
that's-
I guess that gets what's sent up to you guys for confirmation, or at least in HR, that you have a record of it, just in case.
Yeah, and I work for the city manager's office, so
Oh, I'm in.
no, you're okay. And so I don't work for HR, but I would imagine that's how it would be.
And HR handles a lot of that type of stuff, right? When it comes to policy violation and stuff like that, HR would handle
As
that.
things are reported to them, I would imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes if you're having a conversation with somebody and they fix it,
Yeah.
then you don't need
And
to
then you
report
don't.
it,
That's it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give somebody
No,
a
and that's the way it
chance.
should be. This was kind of a product. Like why we're here is basically a product of kind of an afterthought, actually. But we found somebody in violation of that policy. That came down to talk to us. She chose to talk to us, and when I was asking a bunch of policy questions, like why are certain records here instead of over here, and stuff like that. I mean, she was increasingly agitated every time he spoke. But one of the things that he noticed was that she had a thin blue line mug, and for many, not everybody, but for many, it's a very controversial, to put it mildly, symbol that a lot of citizens don't appreciate.
Yeah, you get some on
I
one
know,
side, some on the other,
I
and
know,
then some in the middle. They're like,
but
I don't really. Yeah.
Especially
some
on
people
the
don't care.
flag, like actually it's against flag ethic code.
Yeah, flag code and stuff. But there's no. Anytime I bring up flag code, it's always to me it's kind of comical because flag code is not enforceable by any type of enforcement. So I find it kind of. Hey, how you doing?
This is Ryan Lansky.
Brian,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Our
I'm
HR
LH. Nice to meet
director.
you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, and I think I know I've seen you at a lot of the
At the council meeting,
Council
that's what I
meetings.
said, same
Yeah.
thing. I
Yeah.
introduced myself to him last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, and I'll be at the consent decree meeting.
Oh, okay.
This evening. So.
Have you seen some of those?
We've been
Uh,
to them before.
We've been there.
Yeah.
To each and every one.
Yeah.
Me and the Oaks got into it. So.
Yeah, Oates threatened his life.
Yeah. They're interesting meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it
He's probably
directly.
the reason why he's
Do you
not.
want to see, do you want to go into an office? Do you want to see?
Yeah, can
What do you
we-
want to do?
Sure. Or we can do the lobby if you want
Yeah,
to sit on
whatever
the
you guys want.
sofas.
Lobby's
or-
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
That's
even go
fine.
to my office if you want, whatever you guys prefer.
Whatever you prefer. I mean, here's fine. I don't care. That's-
Yeah, let's just sit out here if you want. Or if you
I don't think we have anything
my
that
office.
nobody can hear. So. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, yeah. And I know Jen Lorenzen is the one that you've been working with. She's the Deputy Director of Human Resources.
Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, she's on a meeting. And I
That's
know
fine.
you guys were here last Wednesday. Sorry, we had an all HR meeting.
Yeah.
So we couldn't quite.
It's pretty much the case anytime we come. People are in meetings,
Yeah,
so.
I was telling them I was gonna say I'm the type of person that I don't like being ignored. But
Yeah, I
No,
do
with-
apologize that we weren't able to meet with you guys.
No worries.
so I just want clarification on certain things. because it seems like when we do our requests for personnel files and stuff like that, they kind of blame you, and then well, not blame, but they put like, okay, well, that's an HR situation. So I'm just like, okay, I just wanted a concrete answers. So so we had requested Sergeant Cook's file, personnel file, and we also requested Sergeant Douglas's file. We had, they were totally different in the evaluations. One was heavily redacted, the other one wasn't. I think it was redacted properly. But the redaction, what I'm talking about is the narrative of how well, first of all, the scoring, if, what is it, acceptable?
Yeah, it's like satisfactory,
probably
exceptional,
below, achieves, and exceeds.
Yeah, stuff like just normal, I mean, I've seen these type of forms in every other business.
His was pretty exceptional, but the narratives were blanked out.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Yeah.
Well,
I tend to be a pretty transparent person with things, so
and then because Douglas's wasn't.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yep.
which was
so
that was transparent.
Yeah. So we're going through transition.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, whether you're private sector, public sector, small or large, all organizations have their time when you're transitioning certain things.
Sure.
There's could be some inconsistencies. And as it's transitioning over under my responsibility, meaning now all open records requests will be within what we call our HRIS group, Human Resources Information System group. They maintain basically a lot of data for the city.
Sure.
And it's an appropriate place for it to be. So through this transition, as I'm getting more involved, I'm putting in a little bit more of my experience, but also a little bit of the decision making that I have.
Sure.
Now, this is the fourth municipality that I've worked for, so I'm very familiar with government, and I've seen it done in different ways.
Sure.
I've had different advices from a lot of different city attorneys' offices, done my own research, talked to other municipalities. So now we're reevaluating the consistency and what's being released. Now, my practice has always been, when it comes to performance reviews and performance evaluations, there's only a few pieces of information that you need to release. The interpretation becomes performance rating is what is actually in the open records request. So I take it as literally it's a performance rating. So what should be consistently provided, and we'll see this moving forward, is going to be the name of the employee, the supervisor, data hire, position, and then the overall rating. All the other details of that stuff should be redacted.
Why?
You talking about the narrative?
The narratives, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different reasons for that. I can't speak to why Cora has it. I can speak to you just from an HR perspective. A lot of times there's a lot going on with an employee and a supervisor relationship. And there's a lot of things that when it comes to building trust, when it comes to performance management, when it comes to actively working through challenges or opportunities of growth, that a lot of that stuff just becomes very functional from that relationship. So at least I can say, I can't speak, Cora just says performance rating. And from my perspective, I would lean towards redacting as much as that's possible because you honor that relationship between the employee.
You see where
Let him finish. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
So, and really, that's it. That's just my perspective is to honor that piece of it. Now, when it comes to trying to disclose bad behavior and other things like that, things that are outside of just that relationship, I mean, then that's a whole nother story. But in this case,
And this is where I come in here, because I had this talk. I've had this talk several times, and I don't want to get to this point. But everything in that performance review, other than personal information, should be public. It's very, very clear in the statutes. It's very clear. So if I were to take, because I'm actually more upset than he is about the redactions, because you can't on one side of your mouth say, and it's not you in general, I'm just saying, you can't say, well, we want transparency, but yet you redact everything that would make everything transparent, right? Nothing is personal or at least it's not supposed to be personal in those narratives that would require a redaction. So I'm almost certain, and I have people have taken, I'm not going to say me, but people have taken these requests to court, and every single time it's been unredacted. So my thing is, why are we going through the, I mean, is that the point, is to make every one of these requests so difficult that I have to go to court to get the information that should be public facing, and not only incur costs to me, but incur costs to the city that is beyond just unredacting? I mean, there is zero reason, and that excuse that you gave of a personal relationship between, a superior and an employee holds no water, and it would hold no water in court. So that's what the frustration is for me. I'm not upset at you, or I'm just upset at the process. You see what I'm saying? Because
understand, yeah.
it's going to take me going to court to get it, but I will get it, because I even went toe to toe with someone over here at
Denver.
no, well, Denver too. I mean, Denver's almost as bad as Aurora is. Aurora seems to be the worst of the worst. It's just facts. I mean, if I go to Denver, I request records, I usually get them real quick, and it's no problem. Everything's unredacted. The personnel file, the evaluations, and I think the evaluations are the key to bridging the gap between the trust of the public and the trust of the police. If we know how these people are being evaluated, it seems like every single request that I've gotten, every officer has been exceptional. Great for Aurora. You got exceptional officers. But I want to know what makes them exceptional. What are the things? Because I found in the one file that was unredacted, I found so many inconsistencies, it's unbelievable. There's copying and pasting going on. There is, anything from, go ahead, KDot, did you?
No, you're right. On Douglas's.
Copy and pasting, which I don't believe should ever be done on anybody's file, because everybody's an individual. And if you're copying and pasting, things from one year to the next, it's just like you're rubber stamping raises for somebody that might not deserve it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then
You should come join HR.
because
That's what we preach all
Trust
the
me,
time, right?
I would love
You
it.
gotta customize those reviews.
And,
Yeah.
and the thing is, it's because I've been in management for years, especially security and management, and when we did our overall reviews or annual, it would be very objective instead of subjective, because we had to stick to the facts. We had to literally go off your performance and how you treated people and what we got back. We would go to certain areas that they patrol and get ask questions. Oh, so how's this person doing? Or how's this, oh yeah, he's doing, or no, he's a little lazy. He's been kind of, because that's an objective key from their standpoint. But with facts, because I don't just, I want to, well, when did this happen?
Yeah.
What time, when, so I can get all the information so we can do a proper evaluation. And it's considered an annual evaluation, but they're not even done annually. It's like some of the evaluations that we've seen were 6 months.
That's another issue that we have is I've requested several, and it happens mostly in Aurora. I'm not saying it's the only municipality that does this, but Aurora seems to be consistent in that the records only go up to a certain year and then they're cut off. And I'm wondering why we didn't get 3 years. I mean, I paid for the information, which is another issue that I got. I mean, the redactions shouldn't require 4 hours of work when in essence I could look through the 20 pages and see that okay, I got to redact the address, I got to redact driver's license number or whatever personal information that's on that file. It shouldn't take 4 hours to go through a file and say, okay, these 3 lines need to be redacted. I know you guys got to be careful in what you redact and what you don't, et cetera, but why does it take so long for a human to look through maybe 15 to 20 pages worth of stuff I mean, even if I'm meticulous myself, and I am meticulous, it would never take me it would take at most maybe half an hour to go through 15, 20 pages of documents. So it's excessive, and it's costing us a lot of money to get these files that are, I mean, barely redacted in some cases, and we're charged 3-4 hours. I know the first hour is free, but 3-4 hours for a couple of redactions that I could have did in 5 minutes, it just makes no sense.
Was that for one particular person or
There's a
across the
bunch of
board?
those type of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want, you can give me the names of those, and I can take a look at it to see why it would take that long. Because
And then we're also getting pushback as far as, oh, your statements are broad or your requests are broad, and I'm like, well, it's the same exact way we've been doing it. So I'm just like, well, how's that transparent? So, and the police are in transition of earning trust of the community. This is not the way to go about it, because we want it to be easy for other citizens to grab personnel files and know what type of officer that they're dealing with in the community on the street.
And maybe you might want to jump in, but just for a couple real quick things.
Sure.
And just for clarification, just when I mentioned earlier about transparent, I was saying my answers. I'm very
Right.
if
Right.
you ask a question, I'm going to give you exactly what that answer
Oh,
is,
no.
right? But when it comes to the request for more information, I think part of what, as I'm taking this responsibility over, I'm realizing how many requests are coming in for the whole city. And in this case, we have really 2 people who are responsible from the HR side to be able to pull these files.
Gotcha.
So it's not necessarily about one request, it's about the one and the one and the one. That really becomes, there's 20 requests, so how do we go about doing it? So sometimes if you're asking for the personnel file, it'd be helpful if we knew exactly what you're looking for, so then we can maybe respond.
I'm always very
Okay,
precise.
Can we do that real quick?
What's that?
Okay, so so we requested, I think her name was Maria Fernandez, personnel file. So if we were to, and that's fair. We wanted us to articulate specifically what we want. I want to, how many write-ups she's had, how many accommodations she's had, and what is in her personnel file as far as the evaluation. Is that more clear?
That would be perfect, because
Okay.
what we define as a personal value includes from the minute that their application, and then it includes their W-4s that they complete, their new hire paperwork, emergency contact, direct deposits.
Yeah.
Technically,
we don't want any of
yeah, exactly. and that's why sometimes if the request comes in, we want discipline, we want
see.
recognition, we
Shorten
want
that time period.
evaluations.
Okay.
It helps us out because then we can do that in a third
Yeah, because I'm
time.
like,
Yeah.
why am I don't care about this person's birth certificate.
Yeah.
I really don't.
And we shouldn't be releasing that stuff, even if it's redacted. We shouldn't probably be
Well, of course,
releasing
it's
that.
no,
Yeah.
it's redacted.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Yeah.
It is that personal stuff is
Yeah.
redacted.
But why
Not
do you
all
even
the
need
time.
That, right?
Not all the time.
And that would become a concern then.
Yeah.
So that's why we're really trying to get.
I mean, full transparency, right? I mean, that basically is another point. It's not consistent, and I don't know what.
And that's what you.
And that's what
I
we're
think that's
trying
what
to
you're
do right now.
you're talking about is
so
consistency.
right now, and not only consistent, and this is what you guys might have experienced is, we're just making sure we're on the same page with like the city attorney's office, and with HR, and then with city clerk's office. I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts, and now we're like, there's some rules and there's some guidelines, but now's the time to say we need to revisit this.
Y'all
And
might need
things
to
have-
hire some people.
Yeah.
Well, and
and
that's
part of the issue.
that's a question. That's a question I actually have. Is there maybe a team of people, or maybe 1 or 2 people that are at least specifically looking at requests? Like how? I mean, is it just random? Anybody in the office picks up these requests and does this?
No,
or?
it gets centralized through the city clerk's office, and then they determine based upon the request who it goes to, and that's why sometimes narrowing it down to what that request is.
Here's
it goes
another-
a little bit quicker. And Kim, I'm like,
I can speak a little bit to that too. I just, the city clerk's office just started reporting to me, so I have just taken them on, and so
ma'am.
right now I'm working through efficiencies, and response times with them, because I feel like there is a need there, and so this is something that I'm working heavily. That's my first thing out of the gate, is to work on efficiencies and response times.
And I think that's a good thing, because I know, okay, I've been told by several people that you're thousands of requests behind, right? I mean, that's consistently what I get, and that's why it's taken so long, and all this stuff, right? So efficiency is key, because if you have to work 3 hours or 4 hours on a redaction that should take a normal person 10 minutes to redact, then there's a problem there too. And you guys could get a lot more done if there was somebody that was a little more efficient, like what you're saying, at doing what you're saying, you know.
And it's to Ryan can probably speak to this, but we have, we're nationwide, for some reason there's a shortage of people that want to work.
Sure.
And so we're trying really hard to figure out what we have and how we can work with them and how we can get that work done faster, better, smarter, right? And so the idea for me, and I'll make sure that I get you guys my card before you leave.
Okay.
But the idea for me is to figure out, from the city clerk's office, it goes to, say, Ryan's or Pros or the library or
APD
whatever,
or
right?
AFR.
So, and then
Yeah.
it's getting that information back, and the response times may not even be on the city clerk's office, or it could be on that responding department. So that's what I want to hammer down on.
Yeah.
So that's the goal for me. So, so I really, really want to fine tune that, and
Yeah.
the more specific those requests come in, this is what I'm looking for. I really want to know what this person is what do their write-ups look like? What kind of accommodations do they have? What does this look like? I don't care about the W-4. I don't care about this
No, I don't
stuff.
either.
I just need this. The more specific, the faster, the better, the smarter we can get that back to you.
Another
too.
question I had.
Because if we don't want to make your job harder by, we need a personnel file. Oh, okay, that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're just waiting
Yeah.
with
You
bated
don't have
breath,
to-
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they
That makes
do
sense.
have, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up to this. Okay, so I was, for the longest time, and I don't know if somebody just drank some Kool-Aid one day and decided that things would be different, but anytime that I would ask for a personnel file of a policeman or another city employee, it was a Cora request, right? Basically the same thing as FOIA. And now all of a sudden they're telling me if I want anything to do with police files, it has to go through CCJRA. I looked at all the statutes and I'm like, why are police files being stonewalled to the public behind CCJRA?
I'm taking a
And the
note
reason
so I
that
can
I say stonewall is because if you ask for a CCJRA request, it could take up to 24 weeks, they say, or even longer based on whatever factors, right?
Which is a policy, it's not even a law. And that's.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'd
that's-
have to
that's-
follow up on
Yeah,
that, because that's.
I just made a note
not-
because I want to find
Yeah,
out what the
I
reason
mean,
is.
it's
That was
it's a
actually
huge
one of
issue.
your guys' request sheets, up to 24 weeks. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it is. It's weird because in a Cora request, you guys have 3 days to respond to that Cora request and then 21 days to fulfill the request. And I think what's going on is more and more municipalities are realizing, okay, we're behind. So the only way to do things is to hide these, these personnel file requests behind CCJRA, which is, think about
Silly.
it. The Criminal Justice Act, right? The Colorado Criminal Justice Act. It has nothing to do with an officer on duty. That's for criminal records, So why are we hiding police records behind the CCJRA? The only thing I could figure is they give you a response time of 20 weeks for it. And that's months. That's months that we're sitting here, and I still got some out there waiting for
And we'll give you a prime example. Officer Ramos,
Denver.
Denver PD. But I guess he shot in a crowd of 5 people, where 5
Right.
people were injured.
Yes.
We, Mr. MLA chair, went down to the headquarters, asked for his, what did you ask for? His personnel file, right?
Yeah, it's personnel file.
And well, first they were leery they had about 8 officers.
They had 8 officers and 3 lawyers meet me in the lobby.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not intimidated by
Right.
anybody.
At all.
but the whole point of that was to get the file because I mean it was important for the public to know, and the local news stations aren't doing the work that we're doing. So I took it upon myself to go down there and ask for the file, and I get an escort of 8 officers and 3 lawyers. Why do you need this request? Well, because I want it, and it's public facing, and it should be. And so the lawyers conferred with each other behind a glass door. All the officers were buzzing, and it was just it was
patiently
weird. It was surreal. But they ended up acquiescing. I mean, it wasn't like 3 days later, and I had all the information that I needed. I mean, it was amazing actually. I mean, all I did was ask for this. They, gave me the business, and I stood firm, and I still wanted my well, you're going to have to put in a formal request. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm here. I'm talking. Do you want me to put it on a piece of paper? I'll put it on a piece of paper for you. That's exactly what I did. But I said, I want confirmation from you guys, because there's been several times where I put in requests where they get lost, or things of that nature. So as long as I have a paper trail, then, and I do it here. I go to the city clerk's office, and they're amazed every time. It's like, well, you could just put that in the computer. What if somebody doesn't have a computer? Oh, well, there's a library. What if they're disabled and they can't get there? I mean, I work for the people. I don't work for any particular agency. I work for, everybody that's watching my streams, everybody in the community, because we want transparency, and that's what it's all about.
Has to be.
So
Has to be.
I'm not here to cause an issue. I'm not here to. I know we're not here to bust anybody's chops over anything. We just want full
Accountability.
transparency
Yeah.
and
And
accountability.
then not only that, but we're also educating our viewers to be like, okay, so this is the process just in case you don't have a computer, or if you are disabled, or this is so you might not be able to do X, Y, and Z, but we want the transition to go smoothly, and it's just like, well, they said no, well, because of a policy, not a law. And it's just, we just want to be on the same page on everything, because not a lot of people know this. A lot of people don't know how to
And
do it.
I don't know the issue if you don't come in and tell me, hey,
Right.
there's a
Right.
hiccup,
Right.
right?
That's
I
right.
tried to do this, but I'm running into this wall and there's a hiccup. So the more that we know, the more that we can say, okay, how do we make this more
Understandable.
accessible? How do
Do we have a computer
There's-
in there and
Yeah.
we
Right.
enter it in
Yeah.
for them?
Yeah.
Because
Here's-
there's not going to be a
what do
big
we do?
request.
How
Here's-
do we make it work?
Procedures.
And they've been wonderful.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be very
Yeah.
clear.
Yes.
They've been absolutely
They're good
wonderful.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wonderful
yeah.
people in there. They've been patient. They've entered it in.
Right, they've entered it in for us, and I know it's like an extra
Wrote it on a
step,
piece of
but
paper, and they've done their due diligence, and they're just wonderful people.
here's
Great
I
stuff.
will pass it along. Thank you.
yeah, no, they're awesome in there. It's frustrating, okay, and I'll tell you why. If I go into the police headquarters right there, and I ask for a simple Cora request form to request a record, you won't find it in the lobby. And if you ask somebody, hey, can I get a request form, a Cora request form? It becomes this big deal where a sergeant has to be involved. They'll call another officer, to come and talk to you. For what? I didn't request an officer. I requested a form. That's what I requested. I didn't request an officer to come try to intimidate me. Normal, like us, no problem. You can bring an officer down and I'll tell him the same thing. Where's my form? We'll go back and forth and whatever. But a normal citizen just coming in and asking for a Cora request form, it's a huge issue. Because now you got,
That's easy to fix, right?
it should be easy to fit, you would think, but we've been at this for how long and it still hasn't changed.
How about if that's something I can fix? That's easy for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
We
that's,
could talk to them.
that's,
Between the two of us,
Yeah.
we got you.
okay, and I thank you for that, because it's not for him and I. Him and I will go in there and
Yeah,
we'll request
I
and okay, send an officer down. It's no big deal. We'll talk back and forth and either have a shouting match or not, depending on how the conversation goes.
You'll lose.
They always lose. So,
That's a skill set.
yeah.
Talk to my wife.
Oh, especially.
I never win.
But that's actually, it seems like a little trivial thing. It's not trivial. You know what I'm saying? Like there are people that we've even had
But it's
people.
so easy to fix.
Right. and it should have been fixed a long time ago. But I'm glad you're taking notes on this.
Taking notes.
The other issue that we had, and it's now a former employee. What?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
You're right. Go ahead.
We just found out we had it wasn't an altercation, but we had a talk with one of your HR people. This was a little while back. I don't know the exact date. It escapes my mind. I can figure it out
She was
for you.
sent down. I forgot what her name was. But it started out okay at first. And like I said, we were talking to her just like we're talking to you right now. And I think I don't know, it was just like she was putting her personal, and then she was using colorful language that wasn't really professional, like we knew each other for years. Like, no, ma'am.
Yeah, you don't know me.
You're an employee.
Well,
like, be professional.
the whole issue with that whole interaction was we're sitting here with you talking about like procedures and policies and getting clarification. It was no different with her. I have no idea. I mean, she was just a regular employee, we found out, that had no authority. I don't know why she interjected herself into this conversation, but she did. And maybe it was fortunate or unfortunate. I don't know. Unfortunate for her because she's no longer here. I don't know if she was fired, if she quit or whatever. But based on that conversation, it was really weird because, like you said, we were sitting having a great conversation talking about specifics. She didn't give us any answers to our questions, but at least she was at first kind of cordial. But I noticed something. I noticed that when he talked, she would bristle. When I talked, it was different. Like she was receptive and she was answering my questions. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? But I didn't say anything, right? I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's just continue. We're making a little bit of headway, I guess, but not really. But at least it's cordial and, the cops aren't here. We're not having an all-out, drag-out brawl.
Just a conversation.
Right. We're just conversing. So it escalated from there real quickly. And finally, I put my foot down, and I wasn't recording at the time, and I wished I was. That's why I'm recording now, not because I'm trying to put you guys on the spot, but because every time we don't record, something wacky happens, and I wish I had a recording. So anytime I come in any government building, I'm recording because you never know what could happen, right? But for this instance, I didn't want to record. I didn't want any attention brought on the city or us or anything. I just wanted to come in and get answers to the questions that we had about, kind of like what we're discussing now about, different policies, different files, whatever we were discussing. And so I put my foot down and I was like, why is it? And he pointed out something, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But I put my foot down and I said, why is it that when I speak, you're okay with everything, but the minute this man talks, you kind of bristle and you're like having an issue? I was like, he's a lot more calmer than I am. I mean, you guys can probably tell by our demeanors, he's way more calm than I am. I tend to want to get to the bottom of things, and I don't want to BS with people. I just want answers.
Yeah.
So as soon as I pointed that out, he looked at her mug, and she had a thin blue line mug. And it's in your policy not to display that type of, first of all, it's flag code, and there's a bunch of issues with that, even though it's non-enforceable and all that. But it is within your policy. So if we're talking policy, why do you have a thin blue line flag prominently displayed to a citizen out here that's telling you all these things? And then she quickly turned to him, oh, well, I have cops that are in my family, and you're not going to disparage cops. And I'm like,
That's not what this is about.
there was nothing. He just pointed out that you had that symbol on your thing, and it's against policy. It wasn't. And then it blew up from there. She came out. She tried to get us, I guess, kicked out of the building by calling the police.
She told us.
Oh yeah, she told us to leave. You need to leave. And I'm like, well, you can't.
Cracked up at her. Like,
I laughed at her because I'm like,
not going nowhere.
what were we on a different planet? What's going on here? First of all, you can't kick us out of a public building unless we're being a nuisance, which we're sitting here just talking like how we are right now. There's no, we're trying to get to the bottom of something. We're not.
Okay. So nuisance. they have to be a little bit higher than that. But
Right.
in Spanish, nuisance is violent. So I get you would be.
It's
correct.
interpretation of the word, right?
Right.
Right.
Here,
Unless
yeah.
unless a law is broken, then you got to do what you got to do. Totally understand that. I get it.
Yeah, if we had
Cohen versus California, which is a Supreme Court case law, and what brings us to security over here.
yes, that's another
Not
issue that
these
we
two.
need not these ones. Well, one of them, but
The young lady is fine. She's fine.
okay. So after that transpired, after we had that little interaction, we sat there because I'm like, we're not leaving, because just because you say we have to go doesn't mean we have to go. We didn't do anything wrong. I knew he didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. We're good. So, but she stormed out, and I was like, you know what, KDot, I think she's gonna try to call the cops on us. We probably should start recording and get out here because something's going on. Sure enough, she's over at the security desk asking, them to, I don't know, do whatever, escort us out or tell us to leave or whatever she wanted to happen to us, call the cops, which never ends up really good in any shape, form, or fashion. I think it's unfortunate anytime a public employee, city employee calls the cops on a citizen because unless they're being completely unreasonable or violent, like he said, there's no reason for it. None of us were yelling. None of us were, it was, as far as I was concerned, it was actually kind of cordial up to the very, very end. But the problem lies with the security here. And so we went up there and we were recording like we're apt to do. I mean, especially now after knowing what I know, I'm never not going to record. And Kata, you want to?
Yeah. So what happened? They called the police. The police, they told them who we were. The police were like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
We're not coming down there.
we're not coming down
We
there.
know who you guys are. And no, we don't want to talk to them. You guys handle it. They're not breaking any laws or anything like that. They can, if they want to cut, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's in the public building. They're not, they're not pushing over stuff or threatening anybody. It just is what it is. And so the police decided to not come. I was like, oh, well, damn it.
Kind of
I
looking
wanted to
forward
have
to
a
that.
conversation. But anyway, so what happened with the security personnel here? Who's in charge of the? That would be more in office, right? As far as accepting. Okay, so the negotiations as far as hiring.
Oh,
The third party
The
contractor.
third party, so that would be
Facilities?
our facilities, yeah, so.
That's Public Works.
That's
And
public work.
There's a division within Public Works called
Yeah.
Facilities, and I think it's Facilities.
Yep, it is.
And they're the ones who manage those third-party contracts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any involvement? Okay, so when it comes to complaints, because I had to go to their office personally about one of their officers, Reyes Aguilera.
Was this back during the fire chief?
What's that?
Was this back during the fire chief interviews?
Wasn't the fire chief, it was the war chief.
Or the police?
Yeah,
Oh,
when
yes,
the
yes,
public
yes.
came in. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. When I think I was right there, and
they just all,
they kind of swarmed.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I was standing right next to you,
Where are you standing right next to?
standing right next to you.
See, I was tunnel vision. I was.
And they get involved with a little bit of that stuff just because of human resources and if there's a claim or something like that happens. And I do know that was something that has led to and will continue to lead to
Jason
what
had-
type of third party groups do we hire, and are
Right.
they going to meet our expectations and our standards of what they can and can't do? How well do they know whether they can have someone leave or stay? So I know it's been a conversation, and we're continuing to evaluate that.
Yeah.
It needs to
Okay,
be
yeah,
because
I met with the vice president of the company, and I totally understand why they act the way they do. Because I tried to educate him on. I said, your officer almost kicked me out of a public building. It would have led you in court, sir. in your company in court for a lawsuit. And I told him the case law, and he was like, what? I said, yeah, you might want to look that up. And you being a vice president, you should be educating your officers on this.
Proper
And-
training.
Well, yeah, and I had told him, I was like, as far as de-escalation, if anything, he could have came up to me and be like, hey, sir, can we talk real quick? Hey, what's going on? What can we do? How can we end this? Because it's I don't want things to get chaotic. I am here to restore order, to make sure I'm here to observe and report, all those type of things. What can we do? And then that would have been like, huh, okay, he's listening. So I would have calmed down if he would have de-escalated. And then, so the vice president asked me, he was like, well, if you're such a manager and blah, 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 well, how come you didn't de-escalate? I'm sorry, I'm a private citizen, sir. Excuse me?
Yeah.
It's not incumbent upon us to.
And I also,
De-escalate.
in that email that I sent, I had, Jason is CC'd in that email
Okay.
of that complaint.
Okay.
So just to let you know if
Okay.
you want to,
Good.
yeah.
Good.
And the complaint,
And Jason had to you remember, Jason had to tell him, go back to your desk.
Go sit
Shouldn't have to
down.
do that.
Go
The city
sit down.
manager shouldn't have to do that.
And that's why we constantly get the feedback. We do evaluations. We
Yeah.
do some assessments.
Okay.
And I know we constantly do that. We're even I even have something in my court to see what it would take to do in-house security.
I think it would be better.
And because we have like marshals over in the courts, and so that's one thing that
They're a
we're
lot more
contemplating as
politer
well.
than,
yeah.
and me and
Yeah.
the marshals got into it too, but but they were professional the whole entire time.
Yeah.
And so I think that might need to happen.
Yeah,
Because
This-
we have more authority because there are employees in,
Right.
in that case.
The reason-
and another thing,
Expectations.
snap, I forgot. With Reyes, he has chewed tobacco multiple times.
Mhm.
It's disgusting. Like, I'm talking to you and you're chewing, and I'm sure that's against your policy. Because I know that's against police. I'm sure you can't smoke in your uniform or chew tobacco or anything like that. Is that?
Well, in the building, you can't smoke or anything. I know.
Yeah, and this guy does it consistently. And the main complaint, partially that, the tobacco thing, because it is, we do our homework usually when we come with complaints. I'm not going to come here and complain about something I don't know about, you know.
Right,
So
right.
the tobacco thing is a problem, but also the demeanor. Like several times that guy was talking about my glasses, how I wear sunglasses over my glasses, and just dogging me for stupid reason. I mean, it's not gonna, I'm unflappable. You can tell me anything, and I'm not gonna fold.
I
I'm
get
not a
migraines.
snowflake.
I have to wear mine sometimes.
Right,
too.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean lights. I mean, it's the whole thing. There's a reason why I do it.
Yeah,
But
same.
I mean, it's none of anybody's business, especially a security guard in a public-facing building like City Hall here.
Why you have
You know,
to-
there was no reason for that.
Yeah,
And they
and
kept
we-
going back and forth, just yammering on about. I mean, it's all on our video. We could send you the video
we
if you
can send you
want.
those videos too.
No,
well, you were there at one of them, so. But the other.
I believe you.
Yeah, the facility
What's his
manager.
name?
Scott? No,
not
facility
Scott.
manager.
No,
The facility manager
it's
is
Vince
Lynn.
Cox?
Vince,
Or Vince.
there we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Reported it to him. He kind of took it as a joke, and he's the one that's in charge of hiring these people, correct? Or am I incorrect?
He oversees the schedule, of the buildings, making sure that, they're covered, they have a schedule. We
Sure.
have, so I think the evaluations and things come from probably his boss. So I would say that would be, does he report to Lynn Center? I think
And
he
I had
reports to
asked
Lynn.
Vince, can I have your bosses? I need to speak to your boss. Oh, well, you can't speak to him. I'm not giving this. No, excuse me? Public employee. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm like, where's the
I think
transparency?
he reports to Lynn Center.
Lynn Center.
Yeah. So who is there one specific person that's in charge of of the third-party contractors? Or?
You know what, I can find that out for you.
That'd be great.
How about that?
That'd be
And then
great.
I'll get your information if you want me to email you guys back, I can do that too.
Yep. That'd be great.
Because I would be lying if I said that I know for sure.
I understand.
And I don't wanna lie. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, if you can get back to me
Yeah.
on that, that'd be
Yep.
great. I'll give you my information.
Yes, let me write that down.
Jason has mine, but I can give it to you too. But yeah. So I just, so moving forward, we will be more specific in what we request.
Yeah, it helps us out, and it helps us turn things around a lot quicker, and it has a little bit more clarity. And if there's something that, like, for example, you were asking that we're like, oh, we just don't disclose that, we'll let you know, and then we'll have a conversation about it.
Right.
Okay, so
That's
if
how
I,
things should
if
be
I
done,
say,
but
okay,
yeah.
personnel file, what includes in that personnel file, disciplinary, actions, evaluation,
Evaluations.
and
Yeah, pay increases
I
or
think-
whatever that
And
you're
then- and then
specifically
pay.
looking for. Yeah,
Yeah, pay.
that's,
Yeah.
I think that's
and then we can turn it around a lot quicker once we get
quicker,
that.
right?
Okay, that makes
Okay,
sense to
that's
me.
not a
I mean,
problem.
I thought I was fairly specific, but I'll make sure and be eagle-eyed with it and be even more specific
And
with the
I've
request.
instructed the team that if it's just a personal file, I've asked them to say, go back and just say, hey, we can get it around quicker if you tell us what specifically you need from the personal file. Because again, we define personal file in this big scope.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
there's
'cause
a
I
lot of
don't-
this conversation,
I
do we
don't
do
need
this, do we not do
birth
this, do they
certificate,
want this?
Social Security
Yeah.
card. I don't need.
Yeah.
I really
The
don't.
benefits they chose, yada yada, so.
Again, I respect their privacy as a, I don't overly need that.
I wouldn't
want
do that
anybody
to a
have
normal
mine. I'm
person.
like,
I mean, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
You know,
I don't want to know where they live. I
I don't
mean,
really care. about
And then I know just from our standpoint, then we are very cognizant to say, well, they say personal file, but we don't think this should be released, but they might want it, and we don't want to break the law by not releasing something that we're supposed to. And sometimes it's just
it's-
easier just to say, what do you want?
see,
What do you want?
it's treading on that ground, and that's what I was getting at earlier about I don't want this to end up in court because it's going to be costly for me. It's going to be costly for you guys. I mean, well, the city, in general. It's not worth fighting over these evaluations. I don't know what is so precious about these evaluations, and like, I don't necessarily buy the relationship between the superior and the inferior argument, but I mean, if that's the road that we have to go, that's what we have to do. I mean, I told the chief, because it was actually the chief that I was talking to about Acevedo about they don't. I mean, I know what's her name, Margaret, or the city attorney, Megan.
Megan Platt?
Yeah. It was her decision to redact that file. And I told him, I said, she does not want to go to court for this because she's going to lose.
Yeah,
because
we wanted a meeting with her.
narratives, and they won't meet with
I
us.
want you to point out to me where
There's no
this
Colorado
is
law.
illegal. Because if you're saying this, if she's giving you advice, be like, we don't want to do this for X, Y, and Z, and that's fine. But you're gonna have to speak to me a little different,
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I know law.
Well, and that's what I was.
We
That's
both do.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to point it out why that I can't get this particular thing filed.
and I've talked to lawyers, actual lawyers, about the issue, and they were like, well, they're hiding behind it. If it gets taken to court, they're going to be unredacted unless there's any, personal information like an address or whatever personal, artifacts that are in there. It's going to be unredacted. So, I mean, unless the city wants a prolonged battle to do with records, I mean, I can get other agencies
Because-
involved, like the local news agencies probably would be interested in that too,
but
because
here's the thing, the narrative part, right? Okay, this officer did good because of why? Why did he do good? I don't want to take some. I don't want to be like, okay, oh, this officer did good. I don't know why he did good, but I think citizens want to know why, because if this officer's great, I want to know why he's great. You know what I'm saying? Officer scored well here because he did this. He's a great team player. He's, whatever. He was kind to a citizen. I don't know. He walked an old lady across the street. I don't know. I want to know about it. I want to know about it. If this officer scored wrong here, I want to know why, because I want to know exactly how deal with them. When I like I said, I used to work in I used to work for Adams County Community Corrections. I was the sheriff, not the sheriff, but deputy. And we every inmate had a mini bio from the case manager, and I would read each and every personnel, right? So I knew exactly how to deal with them. Not to say that I give any type of favoritism or anything like that. Some might have mental health issues or whatever, and so that's how I would handle the situation. There was one person that was an Aryan brother. Like, okay, he didn't like black people. Okay, so I had to deal with him a little differently, and let him know that, look, I'm not here to judge you or anything. That was the judge's part. I'm here to correct your behavior so we can send you back out to society as a better person. That's my job.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the reason why.
There's other
To be transparent.
there's other little inconsistencies in these files, and this is why I keep digging and why I keep wanting more information. There was I got a file, I'm not going to say who, where all of a sudden this person went from a high school graduate to all of a sudden having a bachelor's degree. And it happened just like that. One evaluation, and then the next evaluation, he's got a degree. And I'm like,
That can happen.
it couldn't have happened in this
Well,
instance.
do you get, because you're working, because
No.
oh, no.
It
'Cause
couldn't have
I know
happened
my
in this
daughter,
instance.
she was-
I understand.
She was in high school,
I
she was
thought
getting
the same
credits.
thing. I thought the same thing, but via what I read per the file,
Yeah.
there was nothing in there. I mean, it was inconceivable that he could have got a degree
And it
in that
didn't
time
list the
frame.
college or anything, right?
Didn't list any college.
Oh.
Didn't list in the. I got the whole file, the whole personnel file, everything from point A to Z, everything, including some of the stuff you were talking about, like driver's license and all this stuff that maybe I shouldn't have had. But at least it was redacted, so you don't have to worry about personal information getting out there. I wouldn't do that anyways, even if I were to receive that. But it was just this particular file. I knew it was BS. He didn't go from being a high school graduate to having a bachelor's degree in the time span that was laid out in front of me. There would have been something in the record, a transcript or something of that nature. And when I called that person on it, they couldn't even come up with an answer, so I knew it was BS. If you're a graduate of college and I ask, what college did you go to? You're going to tell me, which college did you go to?
Yeah.
What was your degree in?
studies?
You would know, and you would instantly. If somebody asked me mine, what school did you? I went to University of Colorado. I mean,
Right off the bat.
it's not
You're
even
usually proud because you accomplished something.
And you went there.
right. So that's what I'm saying. Like I've caught in a lot of inconsistent, and it's important because if he's putting on his file that he's has a bachelor's degree, I want to see that diploma. I might not need all the personal information, but I want to see that in his file too, because that's a good thing. More education is always a good thing, but I don't want somebody representing, especially a police officer, representing that he's a college graduate when he has nothing to back that up.
Gotcha.
And not only that, guys. Some of the guys that were out, and like I said, we're dealing with these officers every week. We're in the streets with them, and one of their legitimate issues, as far as we get overshadowed by the bad officers, and so how can we make that happen? By exposing their good record and what they do.
Yeah.
And then I also tell tell the community, send them love. It's kind of like, you're in elementary school, not everybody gets a star by their name, and, the kids is like, oh, he got a star by his name, I want a star too, and that's what we want to encourage. We want, right,
If you want to set good behaviors, you recognize good behaviors.
yeah, we want it. A matter of fact, city council, I recognized
I heard you.
4.
Yep.
You,
Uh-huh.
and
That was great.
people were surprised by that, and then one of the officers is like, man, thank you for doing that,
It means something.
Yeah, but I can't do that in some cases if some things are just redacted. I can't do. I don't know why you did. Because I'm not just going to be like, oh, well, he's a great officer. I don't know why he's a great officer, because I don't have anything to back that up. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying.
I hear you.
Honestly, my impression that I got especially on Sergeant Cook's file, because Sergeant Cook mentioned something to somebody, and it came back, and we didn't get any of his file pretty much. You know, it was all redacted. We got his file, but it was redacted. Heavily redacted. And I was like, kind of taken aghast. I was like, here you have this exceptional officer, but yet we can't see what his accomplishments are because they're all redacted. Why? There's no reason for it. If you have an exceptional officer, let's see the proof, and the proof's in the pudding. There should be no issue with. I was like, when I got that file, I was actually like flabbergasted. I was like, here you have a really good officer. What are you hiding now? Now you're making me think, okay, we just sent him through the system. He's an exceptional officer, but that's just a name only. You know, because I don't know what's going on behind these redactions. Now, if I were to see those files and they said, well, Sergeant Cook was exceptional because he helped, you know, he provided CPR for a citizen, or, you know, that was dying, you know, he saved this guy, or whatever the exceptionalness is, I want to see it. I don't want to see copy and pasting. And that's what I saw. And maybe that's why, and that's another reason why I think that things are being redacted now, is because I personally, along with a few of my friends, found many inconsistencies, like with dates. If you look at the dates, they're completely wrong. There are copying and pasting issues, you know, from one year to the next.
It's not fair to the officer.
It's not.
Copy and pasting, because it shows how the supervisor is lazy.
Yeah, and not.
You know, like, oh, well, let me read this file. Oh, okay, he did that. We'll just put, no, I want to know from your point of view, because it would be different supervisors, right? Doing the.
You want to be fair to the people that are working for you.
Exactly.
And so here's another question that I have for you guys, and you guys would be the ones to ask. What of the years that I didn't get? There was 3 years missing from some of the files.
Right.
And I'm wondering, did all of a sudden the file stop at that point? Like because I didn't get it.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm
what
like,
happened with that?
I mean, there could be.
Like, for instance,
Are
I'll
you
give
talking
you
like
example,
Cook, for
Douglas,
example, or
Sergeant.
my guess is we don't have record of it. Within the HR group, but I'd have to follow up with that. It might be something.
Can you follow up?
because it's consistent.
Because what years are you?
We're talking about
The last 3 years.
21 and 22.
And 23, because it actually, the way that it works is they count 23 as kind of 22. So it's like there was 3 years of missing from Douglas's file and Cook's file.
So we would have provided anything that we had in the personnel file.
So why are we not doing? Is the police
And not
department
only
not
that, we
doing
pay for-
evaluations anymore?
I'd have to.
To find out.
I'd have to look into that.
And plus
Okay.
we pay for those files. So
Yeah, and I did pay for those files too, which I have
I
a
can't
problem
get a
with. Like I
refund
told you
on that.
earlier, it shouldn't have taken as long as it did to redact the things that were redacted, except on Cook's files, because everything was redacted. So maybe you can make the argument that would have taken an hour, maybe
and aren't
2.
we missing years out of Cook's file too?
Yeah,
you said-
Cook and Douglas were missing 3 years so I'm wondering, where are those files? Because, or did they just stop doing evaluations for
It could be
officers?
a
here?
number of reasons. It could be, could be impact of COVID, change of chiefs. It didn't get done. It didn't get to us. I mean, there's a lot of different
I would have,
factors.
that would have been, you know what, during COVID, we didn't get to do the evaluations because of, we didn't, that would have been reasonable. You know what I'm saying? I just need something.
Right. I'm gonna just repeat back what I know that we had promised you guys, so
Yes,
that I
ma'am.
make sure that I have
Sure.
everything. So I'm gonna work on available Cora request forms
Okay.
for better accessibility for everyone that needs them. I'm gonna make sure that I get you the information on who oversees facilities security and how that gets made. So I'll make sure that I also give you an introduction email, if that's okay.
That's wonderful.
And then there are 3 years missing for some requests that you did for Douglas and Cook. And I apologize if I don't know these specific officers. They would know
I
if
know.
I ask, okay.
Yep.
And
Okay.
then
I've looked into
21, 22, and 23.
23,
Where
yeah.
are they, or why haven't they been done?
Right.
And then I'll look
I
into
don't.
the redaction amounts,
Okay.
Here's-
how long it would have taken to redact it.
Right. Here's my response to the COVID thing. Policing didn't stop during COVID, so
Yeah, and again, I wasn't saying that was the reason.
I know.
was
I know. I'm
listing
just.
out there's all
If
these
that's the
X
reason,
factors.
then
Yeah.
I'm gonna call
Yeah.
BS on it. You know, because it's
Yeah.
not an
And
excuse.
there could be a
because
possibility that sometimes supervisors don't necessarily get them done.
Okay, and
For 3
Ryan's
years?
I mean,
Wouldn't
there
that be a
could be
problem, though?
there could be
that would be an
multiple
issue.
ones.
That'd be an issue.
See, that would
Sure.
be an issue.
Sure. I
What-
mean,
Yeah.
Well,
I've even struggled sometimes to get some of mine because the demand of the job, the
I get it.
I'll
workload.
tell you
Look,
right
I
now,
understand
my
people,
director,
you know.
he would be very upset with me. Why were we? Because then he's going to be like, okay, we don't have a document of their performance, and then you have the nerve as a supervisor to get on their case about something, and they don't even know where they're at. Do you see what I'm saying? It would be.
Extremely
You're talking to an HR person, so yeah.
I know.
Right.
So
Fair.
I'm just saying, like, we gotta do better.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we gotta do better. So if that didn't happen, okay, I need to see actionable plans of what's the next steps in making sure that does not happen again.
I agree.
The only thing that I think I would accept is maybe it's in a different department. But even then, like, wouldn't somebody know that these files got transferred or?
We'll find out the reason.
Okay.
We'll find out the where are they and why
Okay.
haven't they been done,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
And if
And
the
you might not
answer
like
is-
the answer.
the
If I don't
might
like
be-
the answer, that's one thing. But at least it's an
Exactly.
answer.
That's-
Right.
that's
Right.
I'd rather have an answer than,
I mean-
and then we can.
We're not gonna make something up.
No,
Right.
no, that's
We're gonna
fine.
tell you
Right.
the honest answer.
No, and that's the way I am
Be
too.
like,
Like, if you guys ask me something, I'm going to give you
You're
an
not
honest
gonna like this
answer. You know.
but this is what happened.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's
At
not
least it's-
just okay. But here's the plan to, you know,
That's right.
that's what I want.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Honest conversation. Okay.
That didn't happen, but we'll, you know, this
Yeah.
is what we're
Right,
gonna
let's
do to
stay
mitigate
forward.
that situation, make sure it doesn't happen.
And Ryan and I have been working pretty closely together for a while now, and I can tell you that he has really been trying to step up the level of professionalism within
Oh, he's
HR,
pleasant.
step up
This is-
the,
Oh, this
This is
The
actually one of the most
requirements.
refreshing
Oh, I mean, this is
conversations
like
that
a
we've
breath of
had
fresh air.
with employees in
Yeah.
order to get answers. So we really do appreciate you guys. And we're not.
Yeah, and,
We're not here
and,
to
and
gossip.
on that note, the one thing that I haven't been able to respond to is the HR employee.
Right.
And the only thing I can say is I'm sorry. That
Yeah.
is, without a doubt, unacceptable for any type of interaction.
Did
that you guys
anybody
described.
review that? What happened there? I know.
So I just wanted to say I'm sorry. That is not the expectation that we have as a city. But I tell
Right.
you personally, for someone who's in charge of the HR department, that is not our standard. And I won't go into too much detail, but I will say she's not with
I understand.
HR anymore. Yeah.
Thank you.
But
I
I
appreciate
do
that.
apologize. 'cause
No,
that's-
I mean, apology
and if I was
accepted,
there
man.
while the interaction was
I
happening,
know.
you can imagine I'd
Right.
be like,
So I take it you guys saw the videos.
Yeah.
Then. Is that
That'd be
what happened,
training.
or did you?
no,
heavy documentation.
Okay.
I haven't. So
Okay. Because it was just concerning because.
about that interaction?
Yeah.
Or,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even know about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd probably be curious, but at the same time.
So it had nothing to do
Not here
with
with
what
these.
happened here. Then it just was some separate issue.
Oh no,
or-
it was all reported to me, and
Okay.
I had conversations. And
He's not gonna know
yeah.
about it.
and again, for transparency's sake, it wasn't reported by that employee, which is a huge concern.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Right?
Now,
So if I'm
Oh,
hearing
it was
somewhere,
reported by somebody else.
because I
Right.
would have liked the employee to say I had this interaction, as a heads up, but
our
that
job,
was the case.
our purpose here was not to get someone fired, Ryan. I hope you understand that that's not. I mean, we know people have families. We know. I mean, we're sympathetic. You know, we're not. I'm not here to cause a ruckus. He's not here to cause a ruckus. We're not. We don't want trouble. We don't want to be arrested. I mean, I know people have this fantasy of quote cop watchers and auditors and civil rights activists that we're just rebel rousers and we're trying to, you know, stir up the pot and you know, for clicks and views. I mean, I don't have that many. So, I mean, I have a good contingency of subs, but it's not world breaking. It's not, you know, and I mean, he has way more, but that's not our purpose. Our purpose is like he said, to educate, to change, for the better, not for the worse. You know, I mean, it's never our goal to get arrested. I mean, that's not.
If anything, partner. We're the, because Jason's calling me and he's like, is there anything roars going on in the community because of this situation, or I'm the one that is basically telling the citizens, chill out. Let's handle this accordingly. We don't want to do that. But if my hands are tied, then my hands are tied. At the end of the day, I tried my best to my job for the law enforcement is you guys. They are to provide law enforcement. I'm there to provide rights enforcement. So if I see an officer trying to violate someone's civil rights, I'm going to let you know about it. Hey, you might not. It's the same thing as a parent letting them, a child know, hey, don't put your hand on that fire. You're going to burn yourself.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I check.
Yeah.
It's if anything, it's being proactive. I am a pro-activist, pro-civil rights activist. I'm there before you
Instead of
have
being
to,
reactionary.
unfortunately, go to the big press and explain why your officer did X, Y, and Z. Like, oh, great, I got to go in front of these people. And I wasn't even there. I was asleep. And you guys never have to really be put in that situation. I do have one more question.
Yes.
Whistleblowing. Is there, and this is more is there a program or a policy to where that officers are allowed to come to higher management to report something that is not ethical in the police station?
Like if you see something, say something.
Correct.
Type of thing.
I haven't seen anything established in the policies saying that.
This I can find out as well.
Okay.
And we do have internally here an ethical advocacy group.
Okay.
So at any given point in time, someone could anonymously submit through the system, and it can't track it back,
Sure.
a claim, and then we have a devoted group and team that takes a look at those.
And that's what I had an issue with Sergeant Douglas over here, because there was an officer who was sleeping on duty. He was in one of the people in charge of DUI traffic, and he was sleeping on duty. The whistleblower officer emailed him saying, "Hey, sir, this guy's been sleeping on the job, blah blah blah," which is a big no-no. And Sergeant Douglas went to him, "Hey, did this happen?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, it didn't happen." Okay. He took it at face value, but it wasn't just that neglect, but he then goes back to the accused officer and shares the email of the whistleblower who came to him. It's egregious, which caused a toxic, it said in the narrative, it caused a toxic work environment. And nothing was done to the sergeant. He was only written up. And I'm like, you should have been suspended at least.
If you fell asleep on the job and Ryan caught you sleeping, you probably would at least get a very hard reprimand, right?
Honestly,
if not fired.
I think that's terminable. Honestly, if it was me, like at most
And some coffee.
agents, if I'm sleeping on the job, I'm
Like,
like,
Kendall, do you need some coffee? What was happening last night? Let's see.
unemployed.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that was your lunch hour, so now,
Right.
but have the conversation.
Yeah,
And-
so that was my issue. That's why I had brought up the whistleblowing situation, because that's not okay. That's not okay. You don't
Why
get to.
did it happen? And have a conversation with that officer, an honest conversation. Not did this happen? It was you were caught, and let's
Right.
talk about the why. Because there's usually a why, and so having an honest conversation and figuring it out,
Right.
and then that documentation.
It's actually even more egregious than that, because not only did he get caught doing that, but he told the offending officer about the email. He showed the email.
Like,
So
showed
he
it to
created a toxic work environment according to the police's words, and he still got an exceptional review.
Do you see what I'm
He
saying?
still got an exceptional review
Like,
after all that.
How's that even? No, he shouldn't even. Honestly, to tell you the truth, me personally, I probably he would have been. This is the final write-up, if not fired, because you violate. Because now you're sending a signal not only you send it to the community, you're sending it to the media that, oh, we cover each other's back. We don't snitch on each other. Snitches get stitches, all that type stuff. You know, like now this officer, I'm not saying anything anymore because I'm gonna get it's
So you
gonna
had
backfire
somebody
on me.
that put trust
Not
in
okay.
a superior officer, and instead of getting, accolades for it, now this guy has got to. I mean, I don't even know if this guy's still working for the police
Yeah,
department.
because
That's how
then
bad
he's
it
gonna
is.
whisper to his friend, "Hey, don't trust him. He's a snitch. Don't be." And then that, do you see how that dynamic can get? And that's how we create bad officers. And this is what I'm saying. One bad apple scientifically can spoil a bunch, and
So
we
true.
don't need that. We don't need that. If we're trying to be transparent, because I'm sorry, but Aurora Police is in a position to have to getting the trust back of the citizens. And if the citizens don't trust you, you won't be able to solve crime. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to want to deal with you. They're going to be like, leave me alone. I don't care. Whatever you guys are, And this is what I'm trying. This is what I told the mayor, the appointed mayor, when the situation happened between Elijah McClain. I said, you need to get this community together quickly or you're going to have a shitstorm. And he had a shitstorm outside of this building. And I told him that if you do not connect with the community, if you do not talk to them, if you do not go to the city hall, if you don't create town hall meetings on this, consistent town hall meetings on this, then the community is just going to think, oh, well, they don't care. And not only that, and that's the reason why these children know that, and I've talked to some of the children in this community because a lot of them, I think I've seen more children with guns than anything, unfortunately. And the thing is, they're not even doing it because they're trying to be a gang member. They just want protection. That's sad. I just want to walk home. I just want to get home, without being beat up. And these are the conversations that I have with my community. And like I said, a lot of the work I do is off camera. Like I really do the work. I really care about this community because I want us to grow. We already got a black eye for the Ward shooting, and now because of Elijah McClain and other things, it's embarrassing. I live here. I don't want to, we want to bring people here. We want more people to be like, well, just don't go to Aurora. And I'm like, Aurora's a really beautiful city. But if we cannot, if we're saying, trust us, and we keep kicking you, like, what are we doing? You keep kicking me. You keep hitting me, and you're saying, oh, well, you'll be okay, but just trust us, No, it's not, no.
It doesn't work that way.
No, the normal human response is to stay away from that person. You're not to be trusted. And we don't want to have that black eye on our community anymore. We want to have more engagement. Like I said, the chief is doing a great job. And I will be transparent. I did have one conversation with him on the press conference, and Jason knows about it. I didn't like his tone or anything like that. I get he was frustrated about the shooting at the mall. Totally understand that. But we have to understand we're still dealing with children, and it's okay to be tough, but you have to have that love behind it. Be like, hey, you can't have that, So we just have to be delicate about titles and stuff. It's because you can really send the wrong message. We don't want to. We're trying to be on a higher level. You guys are put in a higher position. The reason why you have that badge is a badge of trust, because the community trusts you. That's why you have that badge on, and you need to honor that oath. And I would be honest. There's a few officers I'll ask, what is your oath? And they'll be like, oh, serve and protect. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's not the oath.
Which one of those are you doing right now?
Yeah, and like I said, you'll be getting more of these videos because you'll see in real time, like, ugh, we got to do better. And this is, but there will also be some officers who will be highlighted, and now officers, at first they used to kind of like avoid me, but now they're kind of like, well, I want to be on KDot's channel because I know he's fair and he's gonna, and MLH channel, and because he's gonna be fair, and I know I'm gonna get a fair shot. And so that's why I made it a point to shout out those officers at the city council, and it's probably never never happened before. At least not to my liking. So I want to let them know that I'm out here watching them. But look, you don't have to worry about me if you're doing your job. Simple as that. And that's it. And you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your time. And I understand you guys are busy. But this really does mean a lot to us.
And it seems like we have a mutual purpose. I mean, we all love Aurora. I live in Aurora. And I too want to improve our reputation and what we do. And it's a journey. I will say working for government is a challenge, but that's why I like it. I've worked for private sector, I've worked for public, but a lot of us are here because we are public servants and we want to do the right thing. And I think the better we can partner with the people who also love the community, it's a win-win at that case. So,
I think it's great that you mentioned public servant, because people think we're being assholes when we say you're a public servant. Act like it. You know, you're supposed to serve the public. You know, that's you know how it should be. It's not.
I was.
I'm not lording it over you. I'm not.
and it's a choice, right? I
Right.
don't have
Proud to do it. That's
work.
Right. You can work
for
like you said.
government. I can work for go back to private sector,
Right.
but I choose to be here because I think local government is really the heart of America in the sense of every single community out there. I mean,
Understand.
that's what it is. So
And you're right, the partnership, you know, you used the word earlier too, is that's key. And my takeaway from this meeting is that we have some citizens that love this city just as much as we do, and that want to partner and want to figure out how to elevate and improve, and you know,
She is the first public servant to say that about us, KDot. This is a monumental day.
When she walked in, it was like a sunshine, right?
that's Kendall. That's why I love Kendall.
And I'm not
So,
talking about the sweater.
I'm not. Right.
He's like, ah, does everything stopped? I was like, okay.
It's actually, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's us battling with public servants to educate, and in this case, this is the 1 out of 10 times that it's refreshing to sit down and have an honest conversation, and you know, maybe be more constructive instead of destructive. You know, it's like,
Even to the point to where I was telling the chief, I said, you need us in there. We're out there with you guys. Why not have us train them on the first one? Why not?
he agreed with
Why-
us
I mean,
actually.
Providing some insight, some experience.
We're out there with you guys.
Uh-huh.
It's not like everything is being recorded. We're out there with you guys on a weekly basis. Why not get with the especially the younger cadets that maybe are coming on and letting them know the reality? We're out there.
you're in the community, you know the community, and you know what can be done. I love it. Something that I want to speak about what you talked about is maybe there's a way for us to have some more really good conversations. So I'd like to have more conversations with you and figure out how we can do that, so we can bring more people to the table.
I would love that.
And then we can, you know, just have those open dialect. And then I think that could help. And that way, there's not the combative thing. Let's figure out a way. What's the topic? What do you guys want to talk about? Great. Let me see who I can bring to the table, and maybe that's a way to kind of bridge that gap.
Got to. And not only that, but you know, that Elijah McClain lawsuit was what the cap here is 10 million, and so then we had to go to another 5 million. You know, not fair to the taxpayers. You know what I'm saying? And if we can save it, and we're talking about, you know, people. Some people are like, oh, why defund the police? Well, you're technically doing that. If you really think about it, all these lawsuits, that's defunding the police. So
Yeah, when the city budget
if
comes
we
around.
get better training, the people that are actually out there with them, because I tell them, I'm far from your enemy. Trust me. Yeah, I'm there to make sure that you don't do it. You know, I don't want you to be in this particular position. You know, if you don't believe me, I'll tell you the law, and you can look it up for yourself. So,
Well, you guys, I got out of one meeting. I have one in 20 minutes, and I really really appreciated the conversation. I feel really good about knowing that we have some partners out there that we can lean on as well. I would love to, I'll go grab you guys my card.
Okay.
And then we can start working together on some things if that's okay. I am so thankful to have met you both today. And actually, I know I've met you before, but to actually sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so thankful.
I'm actually thankful too because like I said, it's. I'm not blowing smoke up you guys. You know, I think it's refreshing to actually have somebody that will take the time to listen. I mean, 9 times out of 10, like I said, whether it's an officer, whether it's somebody in that office over there, certain places here, you know, we get pushback for nothing because of a camera. You know, it's like this camera made no difference. It's just a record. You know, that's all. I mean, there's nothing
Right.
that should warrant any, you know, anybody getting upset or you know anything of that. I mean, we're in public, so anything you can see with your eye in public, it's fair game. You know, it's you should. I mean, you guys have cameras everywhere. I don't understand why.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do.
And we'll get a part
They're
of you.
right there,
I
there,
might have to go upstairs.
there.
But yeah.
I never understood the camera argument. You know, people get really, especially public servants, they get really upset when there's cameras involved. And I remember a time, I'm old enough to remember, you're probably a little younger than I am, and he's younger than I am, and so am I. So, but I remember a time when video, you know, those big hefty cameras came out with the VHS tapes or the beta tapes, you know, and I'm old enough to remember a time where everybody wanted to be on camera. You know, it was like, hey mom, you know, like you would jump in front of it, you would, what do they call it, photobomb, you know, cameras back in the day, and it was just like a normal thing, you know. And now, anytime you pull out your phone and record something, people get upset and they have this big issue, and I'm like, why? You're, you know.
Yeah, I think too, it's a matter of, you know, trying to figure out from the other person's perspective too. Sometimes a person can feel like
Unsafe.
they're already doing something wrong, or
Right.
they're, you know, like
Right.
even if they're not, they're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna say
So
anything,
question
whatever.
on that. Question on that.
Yeah.
Is that being trained?
Well, I think
If you're going to be a public employee, just let you know that if people come in here
That's
with
right.
cameras,
That's
Right.
right. And we do.
And that's why the HR employee
That's
had,
right.
had no authorization to have the conversation, nor was she trained or
Right.
anything
Right.
else, right?
I see.
She was trying to come from a customer service
That's
perspective
what I'm telling
to
you.
say, hey, I'm here to help you out, but to go beyond
Yeah.
that scope is a challenge.
Yeah.
And I
I see.
wouldn't necessarily even blame her because that's not her job. She was trying to help, and it got to a point where
figured
she
that
wasn't
out very
comfortable.
quickly.
We
No.
figured it
And we
out
told
pretty
her,
quick.
like,
Yeah.
I don't think you should be talking to
We
us
told her
right
that.
now.
I don't
you
think
should be
you're
getting
the
somebody
person.
else."
Yeah.
No, I want to talk. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, your ego's playing right
Yeah.
now.
How many times have I said to people that I've had customer service conversations, I'm like, you do not get paid enough to hear me bitch. So put somebody else on the phone right now.
Right.
I will pull out my mom voice and you will not like it. And so therefore, they put somebody else on the line because they don't, right?
Right, I
They don't get it. And so, and nothing is going to be accomplished with that person. So therefore, let's take
And
it
not
out.
everyone's
I think-
trained at
yeah.
the same level to deal with all the
That's right. That's right.
Like the
From all
conversation we're
levels of life.
having, as much as we want things to change just like that, I mean, it's a struggle and it's a challenge.
I hear you.
But I embrace the struggle and
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
That's part of that
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, it's
Because I can't necessarily, I guess, hold the individual employee accountable if they weren't even told that from the beginning. Like, you are a public servant and you are being recorded by our cameras and then possibly somebody else's cameras. So just to let you know, and these are the rules and the laws that support that.
Yeah.
Are you okay to still? Do you still want the position?
Yep. And your personal
You know what I'm
views
saying?
are
So-
here, and your job is here.
And that clears any because then it's just like, no, you were told.
But sometimes humans are humans, and it's hard for them to separate.
And there's something that happens maybe behind doors that we don't know about, right? In somebody's
Yeah.
life that's going on. So you just don't know. I try all the time sometimes. You know, you talking with a person and you're like, something deeper.
Something's behind there,
Let me just
right?
let me just step back a
I hear
minute.
you.
But in your position, you know, you gave this person
And y'all
the
know,
option.
I'm all in the community, so
Yeah.
I'm not that
Yeah.
hard to find.
Yeah, well, I think too, and maybe it's just a matter of all of us, and maybe in our management staff meeting, we can just say, hey, it's pretty good to get another reminder out to our employees of, you know, what we are and what our expectations are and that type of thing.
I think there's
It's
nothing wrong
it's
with
not
that.
an insult to call somebody a public servant either. I think
Absolutely
it
not.
should be
It's an
proud
honor.
It's
an
my
honor.
badge.
It's an honor.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my
And-
badge, I wear it.
And in a way, like, I'm an activist, so I'm a public servant too.
That's right, exactly, we all are, right.
And not only that, I did, like I said, I took an oath, and I still honor that oath, even though I don't work for the department anymore. I honor that oath, 100%. So, and I
Well,
appreciate
you
it.
guys my cards
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
quick. I'll be right back.
And I'll actually let me come down. I'm gonna go up and come back down. I'll get you my card.
Thank
So,
you. I
I'll-
appreciate it.
Appreciate you. And it's good to see you behind the title anyway.
Well,
that
KDot.
was freaking refreshing, man.
Yeah, there was some problems with it I had, but I'm, you
Come
know,
on, MLH, you got
I know, man. I just, you know, something, you know how my fucking radar goes, bro. You know, it's
But if they're honestly, could we have done this a year ago?
Ellie wants to do a panel. What do you think?
Probably tomorrow. That'll be good.
Can we do it tomorrow, Ellie? We'll do a panel tomorrow. We'll have a special panel tomorrow discussing. I'm sure Ellie's got 15 things that we did wrong during this conversation.
I'm sure.
But
Did she have any questions? Did she?
I got some of them. I mean, it's hard to
Oh, yeah.
pay
I
attention to,
understand.
you know.
But I think, honestly, our way works. Simple as that. Me and MLH's way work. And MLH is going to come at you with those important questions. And that's just what it is. Deal with it or not deal with
Right.
it. But, I mean, yeah.
My last two.
Thank you. Oh, wow, I feel
have
special.
to go get my others from my house. I have a box at home, and I was looking at it. I was like, I wonder if I have any at the office still.
Thank you.
Last two.
Thank you,
I'm
Kendall.
so happy to
Yep,
have
thank
met
you.
you guys, and I'm
really
really excited
appreciate it.
about
Thank
some
you.
good partnerships.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then if you've got my information, unless I can take your information, let me. Okay, I'm gonna have you type it in, and that way I have the right information.
You know, something else.
I'm going to give you my number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's for another day, and I'm sure you got another meeting. But I've been noticing a trend in Aurora with homeless people, and I hope that it doesn't follow the trend that Denver is following as far as like homeless sweeps. You know, I'm hoping it is, and I'm hoping that Aurora does not take Denver's lead when it comes to that, because it's pretty atrocious, and it costs the city way more than what it's worth to do homeless sweeps. It costs not only in monetary ways, but it also costs in mental health ways for the homeless. I mean, when they're constantly being moved from one place to another and always having that insecurity, it doesn't help the issue whatsoever. There have been lots of studies on it. Like I'm pretty passionate about it. I
don't know why I said cat, but it's supposed to say KDot. You don't
Did you misspell your own name, Kate?
It's probably just
KDOT.
right.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there
All
we
right. Do you want me to get your information as well?
You can have my email for sure.
Do you need another hand? Do you want me to?
No,
hold
I
your
got it.
camera
I
for you?
got it. I'm pretty good at this.
We'll definitely partner up, and then, like I said, I told Chief, I said, just bring me in so I can help train you guys. You know, and something simple, an exercise, and I'll even also have my attorney who defended me on some of these cases.
Yeah.
So
Some good partnerships would be good, especially since you've got your ear to the ground, and so you know what's happening out there. So.
we're your eyes and ears.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure
I
meeting
really-
you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
There's a few cards in case
I appreciate that,
you need
Ryan.
it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
How available are you for meetings with the public, like in general, like what we did today?
Yeah.
Can we schedule stuff with
Yeah,
you?
I was,
or-
and that's why I gave you a few extra cards in case there is something I can help out with you or someone else in the community. Now, I tend to not be as externally facing because the nature of HR is internal.
Right. No, I understand.
But anything that falls within my realm, I'm always happy to meet and talk and chat and part of self-pursuit for this
Some
job is
extras for you, man.
what can I do to become better myself? And
Right.
part of the thing is
Right.
what can I learn from the community. So yeah,
Right.
if you guys need something, let me know. I never say no to something that I'm available.
I know.
Kendall probably knows that. I got one life to live, so I'm gonna
Right,
try to
right.
get out there as much as possible.
Okay, I
But,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it,
and
Ryan.
especially as all the consent decree that's happening, although I'm not as externally focused, recruiting and hiring tends to be where HR is more external,
Yeah.
and then we're having a bigger role in the coordination of hiring our entry level police and fire. So we're partnering and coordinating a bit more with civil service, and we'll have a more
Well, I
active
am
role with
glad that the chief is involved now
Yeah.
to put that final stamp because I also heard that there is no oversight over the actual civil service.
Oh, I wish we could have a meeting on that specifically, the hiring process. So
Yeah.
if you could find time, like maybe within the next week or two, to talk about that
And
specifically.
we're getting involved with that process. So
Yeah.
we're going to be the ones who are
Good.
the facilitators between civil service and AFR and APD.
That's awesome.
We're there to help support. We have employee data, we have application tracking. We're going to be doing a lot more reporting because we have the analysis capabilities. So these are some really good, fun changes, partnerships. We just recently took over the background investigation process. So that now
Awesome.
falls within HR.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good, and I'll tell you why when we have another meeting, man. Because it's
Well, again,
it's a whole
appreciate you guys.
whole thing. Really appreciate
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
Ryan.
yeah,
Again,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks
it.
a lot.
Yeah, Kendall. Thank you
Chad,
so
we'll
much.
be
I
at the
really
meeting.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my
But,
gosh, yes.
Hopefully next time we'll see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's do
Definitely
it.
more to come, guys.
All
All
right.
right, you guys.
Here you go. Hold this.
Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
Thank you. Here, KDot. You're gonna here. All right. I'm gonna hand off to KDot real quick because I gotta use the restroom. But I got some final thoughts for you guys when I get back.
Okay, good. Hey, how's everybody doing? Oh, thanks for the Cash App, whoever sent that. You got a Cash App, by the way. 20, appreciate you. Thank you guys for being a part of the conversation. Looking a little rough right now. I'm gonna get a haircut a little later, you dig. Lou, what's up, my guy? Ellie, how are you? I thought the conversation was incredibly important. I thought that's how we need to have a conversation. There was no yelling. It was positive. I meant they gave their time, all of that, man. It was a great conversation. So I appreciate both individuals who came and met with us today. So I can't be mad at that. I'm really, really happy about that. Very, very happy. So yeah. So I thought the conversation was really good. Thank you. I appreciate that. We love you guys. I gotta get back to work. Oh, I gotta get to work, huh? I understand. Get that money. But no, I thought again the conversation was really, really good, and that's how we know we're in the community really changing. Me and MLA do a lot of work off camera, because we're just so involved in the community. So we're not the typical YouTube guys. We just like to educate people on their rights and making sure everything is done fairly, professionally on their end. Because you don't have to be professional. We're citizens, private citizens, and I don't get paid to be a private citizen. But other than that invite dude. So yeah, we're gonna Ellie, let's do that panel tomorrow. Also, I forgot to hopefully maybe I'm gonna see if city councilman Juan can be on that panel as well tomorrow, because he's been asking to be on the show, the KDot experience, for a little minute now, and our schedules. I'm a very busy man. He's a very busy man. So we'll try to get that together for you guys, so we can have that. You can actually ask questions
to the councilman that's heavily involved in our community, and also says yay or nay on the bill or the law or anything like that. Let me know what time I want to be high first. Where's my wife? I don't know where you're at. You were just. Whoa. Whoa, y'all. Okay, talk about tunnel vision, okay? This dude was doing that now. I was just like, I just seen him.
I was hiding like this, y'all. I was like this the entire time going around.
Can't do that to black people. Can't do that.
I scared the shit out of KDot. Okay, my final thoughts, guys.
Security.
I'm glad we're doing a panel because
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Hopefully we can get council member Juan on that panel. That would be really great.
Okay.
Because I know he's been wanting to get on the show for a while. So.
Okay. So final thoughts here, guys. That was about 50% hot air and 50% progress, I guess. I know KDOT might disagree.
Give him a little bit more quick. Give him at least 70%.
You'll find out why when we get on the panel, KDOT. Come on, man. You can't. When you watch this back, and I'm sure you will watch highlights of it, you'll see what I mean.
I think I'm getting more of him on the street right now. He's getting more KDOT.
He's, oh, look, she said 35%.
Oh.
Ellie said 35%.
We'll see. We'll see.
You see,
Here's the
so
thing, it's all recorded. So if they don't do what we're hoping that they'll do, then we can hold them accountable on this video.
So
I'm trying to be. I'm trying my best to be.
And she said 35% because they stayed. I saw that comment, Ellie, that you made about lunch. I was like, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it, man. It's coming. But to their credit, they stayed. But look, I mean, I think it was fairly productive in that KDOT and I are about making connections and getting results in different ways, if that makes sense. So in that respect, I think it was productive. But in other aspects, it wasn't. But we'll discuss further. What time is the panel? I want to be on my lunch break for it. I don't know. What's a good time for you tomorrow, KDOT? I know you're off.
Probably do it in the morning.
Can we do it like 10?
Why don't I do this? Let me contact Juan.
Okay.
See, even if you can't.
I'll make a community post, and so will KDOT.
I'll let him know tonight.
Okay. We'll make a community post at some point tonight, letting you guys know when we're going to have the panel. I want to be high for it. Maybe we should do that. We should do KDOT doesn't partake, but maybe I can convince him to take a gummy beforehand. That would be awesome. I got some wicked gummies, bro. I actually bought gummies from out of state, so.
Want to have a sober conversation on this guy?
It would be kind of fun. It would be kind of fun.
It would be entertaining.
It would be kind of fun. Okay, so guys, the takeaway, I don't know who gave me the super chat, but thank you, the $2 super chat, whoever that was, thank you so much. I apologize for KDOT's hat. It's Broncos country, saying Eagles, whatever you call it, Eagles Nest.
Bird game.
What is it? Bird game?
Bird game.
I thought couldn't it be like Eagles Nest or something wicked like that? It's like the Bird Gang. Okay, it's not Bird Gang.
That's very, very funny.
Edibles are incredible, Fat Daddy says, KDOT.
And I love this guy. We're not done yet, but
We're not done.
We'll reconnect if we find something out there, but we're going to be cop watching.
We're going to be doing some cop watching, guys. So if we find anything... The consent decree tonight, so that's going to be pretty...
in this building.
Oh, it's here.
In this building. municipal building.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll be back here tonight at 6 our time, which is 8 Eastern time. So if you guys are interested, I'll have a live going.
And we
I'm
gotta
sure
make it
KDot.
at 6 because they're gonna be refreshments and drinks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they're good. The whole yard. Ooh, refreshments and
free.
drinks. And well, it better be free. I ain't paying for that shit. Grim Reaper, what's up? It's Shame Canadian. Everybody that I missed, I apologize. I was trying to deeply listen to what these people were saying, but sometimes my eyes glazed over. You could tell.
He asked some really, really good questions.
I tried to.
No, you did.
But we've got more, and trust me, the consent decree meeting is going to be off the chain tonight because I have some questions about the. The actual, what do they call it? The survey that they do that was really awesome at the beginning, and apparently it's not so awesome now. Yeah, you know that whole thing where they had like red, yellow, green.
Oh, right, the report card.
The report card. That's what I was talking about. So there'll be more to come tonight, 8 Eastern time. So tune in to our channels for that. Are you going live, KDot, for that, or what are we doing? Okay, so we'll both have lives going, and all that. But I'm running out of battery, guys. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. If we run into anything while we're cop watching, you guys will be the first to know. I hope you guys get the notifications. If not, unsubscribe, then resubscribe, and you should be okay with that. Until then, guys, I'm gonna put my phone on the charger. Thank you guys so much. Any final thoughts, KDot, before we leave?
And final thoughts is to basically record the police. Okay, whatever you do, record the motherfuckers. Okay, just for your records. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have your paperwork is taken care of. 'Cause if you take care of your paperwork will absolutely take care of you. If you have nothing to prove during your interactions with police, then you have no documentation. And so that's all I got to say. I love you guys. You guys are the best. Kelly, see, I even love your ass. Even though you get on my goddamn nerves. I love you. Seriously, I love you, and I love everybody that's been supportive of the channel. It's all with love. The supportive of MLH. Hey, please, if you're new here, subscribe to this guy's channel here. Okay?
What are you talking about? This is my channel. They're already subscribed,
Just
bro.
saying, there might be new people in there. You never
I mean, I need KDot's 30K subscribers, almost 30K
We're almost
to
at
jump
30K.
on board.
We're almost at 30K, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Ellie, I know you have final thoughts, but we'll get your final thoughts on the panel tomorrow because I'm sure there are final thoughts, afterthoughts, before thoughts, above thoughts, underground thoughts.
It's gonna be a whole damn goddamn.
She's gonna tear us apart, man.
Yeah,
She always does. She always
goes-
does. But anyways, thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. You know, if we find something, we definitely are gonna get like I look a little bit better like this, man. You know, I'll just get my eyes in there. There we go. No, but thank you guys. Stay safe out there. And until we see you guys again, which will be probably really soon because we always find shit. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.
Later, everybody.